here we are, Wavedash 20, which is all about Nina Williams. And I have two very well-known Nina players here, two Nina experts. The first is AFriendlyTree.
Hi. Thank you very much for having me. It's truly an honor to be here.
Hey, pleasure's all mine, man. And Mawts.
Hi guys, what's up? Thanks for
Awesome.
having me.
Pleasure. And as always, we also have Dinosaur.
Hey, what's up?
Cool. So, Nina Williams. A character is a character that I'm not personally the biggest fan of, and I've talked a bit about this on my channel a bit, and I think on Main Man's channel. And I think the problem is that when you get two big content creators both expressing a kind of a distaste for a certain character, you can kind of it kind of influences people, and I feel there is sort of an obligation here to talk to people who are really passionate about this character. So that's one of the main thrusts behind this podcast, and I guess that leads to the first question. Guys, you're both Nina mains, AFriendlyTree and Mawts. Why do you play Nina, and what attracted you to the character?
Shall I start?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Go.
Okay, well, yes, I'm a Nina main. I've been a Nina main since probably about 2006 now, but it did take me a while to actually get onto the character. And the reason was really due to the technical inputs. So I remember watching some old videos of like Only Practice, Nongbu Hem, and this was Tekken 5 time, by the way, seeing things like the side step 1 cancels, the jab combo, and I just found that quite fascinating and fun to learn, especially because the situation I was in at the time meant I didn't have too many opponents to verse, and I had more time when I was playing in practice mode, so more time to focus on the more technical side of things. The character design itself isn't what drew me to the character at all. I'm not, I don't specifically use female characters. I'm not a waifu player or anything. But I guess with Nina, it kind of resonates with me. I'm quite straight to the point as a person. I try and be. And I suppose with her, it sort of feels like I could be creative and I could express myself in how I played the character.
Yeah, she's there's no question about it. She's an incredibly deep technical character. Like, especially once you get to stuff like, the side step 1 cancels, the Hayashida step, stuff like, butterfly loops as well. There's a lot to her. There's no question. And anytime I see a Nina player, they're always quite different. At a higher level. Mawts, how about you?
Mine's really not as deep as AFriendlyTree's. Mine is just back in like 5th grade or something. I've been playing Tekken 3. Then, some guy in class talked trash, and wanted to play Tekken 3. So, we fought, and he used Nina on me, and I got wrecked, like totally wrecked. And while he was wrecking me, he was talking so much shit, trash. Then after that, I just studied Nina through and through. Then, after that, Tekken Tag 1 came out. I was using Nina ever since. And not necessarily because I like her design or I like her moveset. It's just that she's the character, like her moveset is the one I'm super comfortable with. So it's just a comfort level, and using other characters just doesn't have the same comfort level. So it's just as simple as that. Like no character design, no affinity whatsoever. It's just like I can express myself more with her moveset.
Yeah, the word expression is coming up quite a lot here. And I found that's generally one of the reasons. I mean, often with the legacy characters as well, that word comes up all the time. I just want to ask, what is it about Nina that allows you to express yourself? And this might be a hard, somewhat nebulous question, but how can you express yourself with Nina exactly?
Should I go first? Or
Yeah, go for it. You go for it. You go.
Like firstly because of there I've been playing Nina for so long, but it's just that she has a lot of moves, like for example, Nina is like a Swiss Army knife. Like she has tools for every situation, but there's like 12 of them. So imagine like having a multiple choice, and like the choices are like 12 items instead of 4, you know.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons, because like for example, for a situation like you block a DF1, if you're Kazumi, you just like uh retaliate with like an do you do back two, do you do it's just like four options after a situation. Like Nina can do like 12. So yeah, so that's and also the sidestep one cancels really leaves a lot for expression, because you can do virtually anything from a sidestep one.
Yeah, infinite
and you can convert combos from left to right. You want to change the angle, you want to change the axis, you know. So yeah, there's a lot of expression to be made with Nina.
Absolutely, and a lot of that's what I was going to say as well, or very similar. Arya, as you said before, that when it comes to higher level Nina players, you notice that they all play quite differently.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's because, in any situation, there's not going to be just one move that can work there. A lot of the time, you will have multiple scenarios, multiple mix-ups, multiple mind games that are going on in the background, and that you can use Nina's toolset for. Yeah, I mean, you can just see all players play differently. She has the potential to play rush down up close. She has the potential to use lots of strings for pressure. She has the potential to space and evade and whiff punish very well. She can really cover all bases. And it's about how you enjoy playing the game and what you want to do.
Yeah.
I think she's like, with the sidestep one and the butterfly edge and so on, she's also a character like where she's as hard as you want her to be. I think if you want to really max out the character, it's extremely difficult. Basically a virtually unlimited technical ceiling. But on the other hand, if you want to play a relatively simple, straightforward game, you can do that with the character. It's probably not particularly optimal. She's still got long-reaching wall travel. Without doing sidestep, without doing while standing one or quarter circle forward one combos. And I think, it's that there's like a big spectrum of play, like going all the way up from very basic up to extremely high level.
Yeah, actually, that was one of my personal issues with the character, in that when you look at the top level, it's just incredibly cool. As you say, it's very expressive, it's very tactical and deep. But then most of the Ninas I play are just like, can opener, down 3, 4, 3, down forward 3, 4, 3 plus 4. It's just like we were talking a bit before about what was it? Guess Tekken, like in tournament, like Dino you were mentioning. It was like the knowledge check. Right?
Knowledge checks, yeah.
Knowledge check.
Knowledge checks, yeah.
And it's just like, I feel like, you can play at any level, but it's not like it's a smooth, gradual gradient. It's like either it's all knowledge checks, or it's this crazy deep technical character. It's just like it's like a massive hop as opposed to a gradual curve, if you know what I mean. And
just to add on that.
Go on.
Just to add on that, that's why there are like very few like high level Nina players right now, because you're like your journey starts with knowledge checks, right? Like as you go up through the ranks, and you get spoiled then there's like and it drops off very quickly.
Mm.
You know, when you reach a certain rank that people know how to fight the strings and whatever, you know, you just drop, and most people just quit Nina, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
This is the thing. A lot of
You
characters.
do. You hit a wall.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry. You do. You hit a wall there, and I mean, I remember, you guys will know the arcade mentality of you just keep losing until you figure out how to win. And I think there are a lot of, I guess, traps with Nina with these knowledge checks where you start off and you find these strings and you think, wow, they're working, they're doing great, but then you come across players that know how to deal with it, and suddenly you don't know what to do, and you really have to evaluate what you're doing and figure out how to approach the game differently.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a lesson for players that she can give people.
So many characters fall into this trap, though. I mean, you can make the same case against, like, you know, Scrubby Law against Good Law, Scrubby Brian against Good Brian. But I feel like Nina is the most kind of like her scrubby stuff is actually quite hard to deal with, even if you're a decent player, especially online. You know, like I feel like Scrubby Brian stuff is pretty easy to deal with. Law as well, but Nina, I feel like it's the most explicit, this problem. Like the knowledge checks, or at least the potency of the knowledge checks, I feel like they can get you somewhat far.
They can, yes.
Yeah.
And you're right, it extends to multiple characters, so it's not only Nina. And you're right, there can be a lot of difficulty. But I guess that's what makes her a lab character, as people call it, where you do need to go and you need to actually learn the matchup.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, I really do want to like this character. Like, as I said, like, you know, I think it's so cool that the amount you can do with her. But I always felt like the development team never really knew exactly what direction to go with Nina. I feel like... But maybe, you know, like, this is why I have you guys here to kind of debate me on this. Like, I think let's take a look at a history of Nina Williams. And guys, I want to ask you, Mawts and AFriendlyTree, when did you guys like start playing Nina?
So I properly started playing Nina in 5.1 at the arcades, but I don't have a great knowledge of the game back then. And it was not long after Dark Resurrection came out, and we also had the console release of 5.0. So any of my early tournament experience is in Dark Resurrection, really.
Okay, Dark Resurrection. Mawts, how about you?
Yeah, I properly started like playing money matches in Tekken Tag 1. So I've been using Nina and Anna back in Tekken Tag 1.
Wow, old school.
And you know, they're kind of strong. A lot of people don't know that, but they're kind of strong in Tag 1. So I won my first proper tournament back then in Tag 1 using the sisters.
That's super cool.
Nice.
Now, Nina's like always been at least high mid tier, if not top tier, and I think Tekken 7 is the only game, correct me if I'm wrong, where she's like decidedly mediocre. Or at least not mediocre, but the amount of effort you need to put into her, like, why pick Nina and do all this crazy sidestep one stuff when you can just pick Leroy? Like, you know?
It's a sad truth at the moment.
Yeah. You know, it wasn't like that in the beginning, because Nina wasn't like, I think I think that, you know, Namco went into the direction of they wanted Nina to be an execution character, but she really wasn't back then. Like Tag 1, Tekken 4, Tekken 5, DR, Nina wasn't, you didn't really need to have executions back then, you know. It started like, you know, maybe 6, Tag 2, and now that Namco went into the direction of they wanted her to be like an execution character like Lee or something. like
I think
a
it was.
loyalist.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was 4. It was by accident.
Hayashida, right? Because
Yeah,
with
I think it
Hayashida,
was.
he was
Hayashida.
very key.
Yeah, because Hayashida and because 4
1+4.
was the first one where like sidestep 1 was really started to get popularized.
Mm.
Because, but like I don't think they meant to do that. I think they were like, let's put Ivory Cutter in this game.
+1 on block, woohoo!
Second floor. Yeah, +1 on block and 4 scratch.
Yeah.
Tracking perfectly in one direction. But yeah, I mean, because I'd be interested, like, what did you think was good about Tekken Tag Nina? Because I always thought she was whack, like Mawts. Because I mean,
Like, Anna was pretty good,
like,
right?
I'm sure you actually learn a lot more than I do. Yeah, I thought Anna was good, but I always thought Nina kind of sucked in tag. But yeah.
Yeah, Nina was good for the meta back then because the meta was like Mishimas. So and Hayashida, you know, you're virtually option selecting everything the Mishimas can do because they had the mid godfist, right?
Mhm.
Like the electric with the tag, you know, the special mid.
Mhm.
So and you know everything whiffs and Nina can block the godfist and the hell sweep with the Hayashida. So, you know, they can't really go in and mix you up. And also, Nina's Magic 4 back then was godlike. Nina's Magic 4 back then was like Nina's back 4 now. You get a free launcher in Tag 1. So you do Magic 4, then you do it was a launcher back then, the QCF2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah. And the 8-frame jab. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff back then.
Yeah, I mean, down forward 1-2 being +1, and I think 1-2-1 was +1 as well. Even though,
yeah. But it's usually just for the Mishimas, you know. I think overall Nina is weak, but for the meta back then that people are all Mishimas, she's strong because of just for the Mishimas. But overall, she's weak.
Okay, so good matchups against the top tiers, but overall,
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean,
but she lacked crazy amounts of things that she has later on, like any Tekken Tag 1 character.
Yeah, that's right. She lacks a lot of things, but for the Mishima, she's good.
Her down 4 was a special mid in Tag 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Yes.
Holy shit, I forgot that.
So you do down 3.
Had to do down 3. Yeah, that's pretty much all she had, right?
and if they punish the down 3, you do down 3-4, and you get a mini launch and whatever.
She had like, she didn't have like a while standing launcher. I don't think while standing 2 didn't launch.
Yeah.
Did it?
You just do what Lei did, what Lei was doing in Tag 1. You know how they play Lei. You just ha 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 ha, then play like chase me. You know, just that's how Nina's played back then in Tag 1. You just Taishida versus Mishimas.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Yeah, because I never saw like functional tournament level like Nina in that game. Like everyone, because that was the whole thing. Like she was nerfed so badly from Tekken 3. Everyone was just like, no, and yeah, other characters were super good. Oh, that's super interesting. Yeah, I really would have liked to see that. It would be cool.
Well, I think Nina, correct me if I'm wrong here, is one of the 3 characters, and the others being Paul and Yoshimitsu, that has been in every single Tekken. So Tekken 1, 2, 3, Tag 4, 5, Dark Resurrection 6, Bloodline Rebellion, Tag 2, and Tekken 7, of course. And even Yoshimitsu is debatable if it's the same person or not.
Don't forget, she's also been in any other spin-off game too, including her own Death by Degrees.
Oh yeah,
she's everywhere.
I haven't actually played.
I haven't played that
Death by Degrees. So
Look,
sure.
don't worry about it. Like, it's cool, but camera issues are the big thing that set it back. That's what everyone says.
Yeah,
I've been meaning to play it again. But I don't know if I can bring myself to.
It looks super.
Got some like weird twin stick control system, right?
Yeah.
Is that the one? You gotta like you kind of attack in the direction you want to go in. Yeah, interesting.
I heard it was a terrible game. You know.
The only reason I'd play it is to look at the animations, go like, "Hey, look, there's Ivory Cutter," and things like that.
Well, I mean, like if we're talking about Tekken, if we're starting with Tekken 1, like, do we need to start with Tekken 1? Like, Dana, you might know.
I don't really know. Yeah, the only thing I know about Tekken 1 is that like Ford 4 has like 1 million.
You got a free wake up kick,
like,
didn't you?
No, you don't. I think you just stand up and launch them. Like,
Oh, okay.
like they're stunned for like a second. That's all I know about that game. I have messed around with all the characters in Tekken 2. I don't remember Nina having anything like that jumped out to me. I'm sure like down forward 1 grab does 1 million points of damage and it's unbreakable, but tons of characters have stuff like that. I don't remember anything like jumping out at me.
Tekken 3, I mean, you wrote the script for the retrospective we made recently, and you called it the most overrated. You gave it the most overrated character award.
Yeah, I mean Mawts actually, like, maybe if there's like if Hashida is actually super good in that game, I might be completely wrong.
No.
Like she had like, yeah, she still had safe divine cannon and like for down for 1, like the poke strings were still good down for 1, 2, and all that other kind of stuff, but like it's not like flying kick into guaranteed God Fist or forward 3-4 into guaranteed waning moon, or like any of the bonkers jab strings in that game. Like,
yeah, in Tekken 3, she's not. She can't hold the candle over the other characters.
Right.
Digging into my Discord knowledge, she was the only character that had a low parry though. So that's
she was one of them. Yeah, she had low parry. I think she had low parry. It was low parry divine cannon. I think was.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And also other characters had low parry back in Tekken 3, like Xiaoyu and
sorry.
Yeah, Xiaoyu Lei from Hwarang for some completely weird reason. Low parry, low parry
Brian.
into Skyrocket. Yeah, Brian had it.
They do the low parry into the Chains of Mystery.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, the classics. Yeah, so Tekken 3, I think a lot of people thought she was good because the game hadn't been explored that well, and people just liked aggressive poking. But yeah, like when you look back at it, you're just like, oh man, look at Jin in this game. Tekken Tag, like Mort said, I mean, I thought she sucked, but Mort's probably has explored her obviously way more than I have. And there's that was Tekken 4.
But 4 is when she started being like good, like really, really good.
Yeah, 4 was when people were like, "Oh no, this is legit." But it was interestingly enough, it was only like later. Like she didn't jump out at people. Ivory Cutter jumped out at people, but Hayashida and Sidestep 1 didn't. Like it was an American player, Tom Hilfiger, who really like started doing really well with her, at least in like the Western scene. Yeah, like so she had Ivory Cutter in that game, and like we said, Ivory Cutter tracks perfectly against sidestep left. Forces crouch. It's +1 on block, and it is +15 of fake advantage on.
Yeah.
Meaning if you're on
insanely good.
If you're on player 1 side and you're playing against Nina, she does Ivory Cutter. If you press buttons, you'll get like Magic 4 or Jab. So you're like, okay, what movement options do I have to beat Ivory Cutter? You have no movement options to beat Ivory Cutter. Block on player 1 side because you can't sidestep. Because you're in full crouch. You can't sidestep right. But she just does Ivory Cutter again, and you can't backdash because it's Tekken 4.
Yeah.
And Ivory Cutter has disgusting range anyway. Like so, Ivory Cutter loops.
And when you get to player 2, you just grab switch and you're in player 1 again.
But yeah, like that was the one where like people started doing like sidestep 1 had true advantage, so you did sidestep 1 into down 4 was guaranteed on block. I'd like if anyone's like asking, you couldn't get jabs or whatever, but because of like facing even by the wall. And yeah, Hayashida avoided tons and tons of stuff. Wait a minute, Mawts. You said Hayashida in Tag 1. Hayashida was hard in Tag 1.
No, there's like you can do Hayashida in like two ways. Actually, until now, you can do Hayashida in two ways. Like you can do the Hayashida like Nina is going up, but you can also do the Hayashida like it's just purely going
Really
back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you should. That's the Hayashida that's good in Tag 1.
Okay.
But the Hayashida that's good
Yeah.
in 4 was the one going, going up, going sideways.
Yeah, up, of course. I'll go back.
Yeah. Because nothing hits you. It's just like Steve's FF2. That's the only one that hits you, or Sonic Fang. They run into and Sonic Fang. That's the only thing that hits you. Even Jin's laser scraper can't hit you while you're doing Hayashida.
Interesting.
Yeah, so she just had like crazy movement in Tekken 4, and she had good pressure, but the only thing she didn't have is that like her mix-ups were still pretty crap. And I have like the wall, like every character had a good wall push mix-up. She did have so she was good there, but like it wasn't the same as like Jin or Paul or Mishimas or stuff like that. So she didn't really. Yeah, she was super good in that game.
I mean, top 3 is generally regarded as Jin, Steve, Nina in a kind of rock, paper, scissors dynamic, where Steve beats Jin, Jin beats Nina, Nina beats Steve, right?
Pretty much. I think, because Steve couldn't really pressure it now.
Jin, didn't she?
I
don't know,
think
I'm not
Nina
familiar
beats
with
Jin.
4. Yeah.
Nina beats Jin, Steve beats Nina, I think.
Oh, that's interesting because like I remember like Tom Hilfiger, he said he thought it was the other way around because he was just like once I think he basically just said like once Jin gets you to block jabs, it's too hard. Like even though like Nina had 8-frame jabs and stuff, he was like the guess is too difficult. Because even like I think you could hit her with laser scraper in some situation, like if you timed the laser scraper or whatever, and you could do crouch dash 1 on one side. I think Steve was he said like I think he beat Nin and he went to Korea. So I don't know, but it wasn't really a matchup I played much, to be honest.
Anything else to add about Tekken 4 in general or Tekken 4 Nina?
No. I mean, it was just like it was like I said. I think it's probably the birth of like technical Nina.
Right.
But then again, Tekken 5 came out just after that, which was like the scrubbiest she's ever been.
Yeah, I was about to say the Scourge before we head on to the Scourge, which is Tekken 5.0 Nina. Oh god.
Yeah.
So yeah, where to start with 5.0 Nina?
Up forward 1.
Yeah.
So,
forward 1.
Yeah, up forward 1.
Notorious up forward 1, of course.
Yeah, let's move like this mid, which hit way down to the ground, which just went for miles and miles, and just gave you free damage, like in combos, ridiculous OP. Like I think it was like Shaheen's 7.0 while standing 3. Like it was guaranteed after certain combos, right?
I mean, it was the combo ender.
Yeah.
But it was the fact that the up forward. I can't remember, but so up forward 1 into stomp was I think guaranteed, at least on most characters. All you could do was to reduce the damage slightly.
Yeah, that's
you tried to reduce the damage. She just did down forward 1, down forward 1, up forward 1, and due to like the fact that in the life bar was tiny in 5.0, you were basically dead after if you ever tried to reduce the damage from the stomp. She got you with down forward 1. So
and the OK afterwards.
Had to beat the stomp.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about it.
Like her down forward one
I know,
two
it
was
was-
plus, right? Her down forward 1 2 was
That-
like plus 2 or something, plus something.
It was +1.
Plus
Plus
one.
one.
Plus one. Yeah.
Also, like Spider Knee, like the just frame, down forward 1 2
Yeah.
3, both punches, it pushed back super far. I think only Fang could punish it. I don't think Steve could because he didn't have.
No,
Didn't have the good range
Steve can
Sonic
punish.
Fang.
It's just that the first hit of the Sonic Fang
Hmm.
and the second one whiffs. Yeah.
Because they buffed
and
him
also Nina has the like the pushback with the Divine Cannon. If you
Mhm.
do
Yeah.
Yeah.
the alternate
back.
command, the down back 3,
Yeah.
it's like only Steve can punish it, I think. With
I thought it was minus.
the same.
I thought it was like minus.
It's
It was
still
minus 10 or something in 5.0. The down back 3 version. 'Cause I remember it being super safe.
I think only Steve can punish it, but don't take
In-
my word for it.
in DR. It was -17. It's still a lot of pushback, I know that.
They pushed. Yeah, they put it back in DR. They were like, no, all this stuff is going back. This was I think this was also the game where she actually got like O's. She got down back 3 for the first time.
Yeah.
She got forward 3 for the first time, which was super good.
It was a launcher
because
of
it was
a
the
good
most,
execution.
yeah, exactly. It was the most damaging 14 frame launcher in the game because it was forward 3, full crouch down 4-1, not down 4-1, but full crouch down 4-1, down forward 1, up forward 1, and because up forward 1 hit on the side. In this case, you didn't do the stomp, you did the slap. If they stood
Yeah.
up, so quarter cycle forward 1. So if they stood up, they just got launched. And it was fully guaranteed. I think it was like 80 plus damage, which is well over half-life in Tekken 5.
You know what's sick about that Nina a forward 1, Oki? Was it just like another piece of the puzzle, another piece of the like the brokenness. The other broken stuff was down 3+4, the stomp on hit. Because you can do another stomp or you can float with down 4-1.
Mhm.
That's the other broken thing that nobody talks about. The stomp. The recovery after the
Yeah.
stomp. Because like back in Tekken 5.0, I do like a forward 1 ender. Then people know the pickup. So I just do stomp, 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 then down 4-1, then he's dead. So yeah, that's the other piece of the brokenness.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But like,
Yeah.
so basically ridiculous combo damage, crazy Oki, and just lockdown. I mean, you have to remember she also had an 8-frame jab. So you have an 8-frame jab combined with down forward 1-2, which jails and is +1. Like some characters just can't do anything, basically.
And everyone can movement is good. Movement is still good in 5.0.
Yeah.
So like, she's still probably like I still think like in a weird way, like even though I struggle a lot against Nina's in 5.0, still think she's a bit overrated because it's sort of like with the exception of like the flaw, like the problems with Nina in every game, like the strengths are still the strengths, and the weaknesses are, to some extent the weaknesses are still the weaknesses. But like, it's just the fact that like down forward 1-2, it's always in Nina's favor to block, to get this move blocked, whether it's plus or not. Like in any game, if she's able to in situations to get it blocked, but it's always the thing that like Nina is just not the greatest character at dealing with movement. And 5.0 dealt with this with like safe divine cannon and up forward 1, basically. They're still not as good as like it still wasn't. In the end, it was still just like you're gonna have to take a risk to get in
That's
on
right.
Steve.
Yeah.
And he will kill you
Yeah.
instantly.
Just to add on that, because in she has at that time there was no like really proper tracking moves. So to deal with people with good movement, you really have to do dash DF1-2.
Right.
You really have to throw yourself into for your move to track, and that opens up opens you up for a lot, like Steve back one and a lot other stuff.
So
yeah.
approach is I guess mix-ups and approaches have always been her weaknesses. More the second.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of the things that like. It's one of the things that always makes the Mishima versus Nina matchup like interesting. I think in particular is that like she has a huge advantage close, but it's sort of a bit like Nina and like Law versus Mishima's. You know, she has a huge advantage up close and pressuring and so on. But you have much more chances to like take life leads back and to like win off a single spacing guess. So yeah, I mean there was that as well. Like she wasn't as good as you would think against like characters like Mishima's or or Steve or she had sort of the same thing as like Fang. Like everyone was like, oh my god, Fang is incredibly good in this game, but Fang just isn't not that good against movement. It isn't like in any archetype. So yeah, that was basically 5.0 Nina.
So between 5.0 to Dark Resurrection, what did they do to her?
Absolutely shagged her. Like we're just like, look at all this shit, it's going in the bin. Get the fuck out of here. Divine Cannon got jucked. Up Forward 1 got jucked. Did they get rid of? Oh, Spider Knee, Just Frame Spider Knee went in the bin. They were like, you can have this plus frame down Forward 1 too. You're not getting a safe mid throw auto. You're not getting a safe mid auto throw afterwards. Forward and 3 just became what it is now. It wasn't a launcher anymore. Like weirdly enough, I heard that like the Koreans thought she was good in DR, which was always weird to me because I would have thought she would have been really bad in. I never saw any sort of videos which made me think, oh wow, this character's super good. But like I never saw anything that made me think, oh no, she is good. This was one of the ones that I thought DR Nina was kind of whack.
Like the best
characters. Like you guys will know way more than I do because I was not playing against the character. Like the character dropped out of European Tekken instantly after 5.0 for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there was anything that stood out too much in DR. She'd lost. It was pretty much she got gutted from 5.0. But I still enjoyed using her. Still tried to do what I did. I was still pretty early in the game, of course. Am I right in remembering her size step 2 was only Nick 12 then?
Yeah, I think they only made it 14 in 6. Yeah,
I think it was in 6. Yeah.
Was it?
But no, she didn't have much more.
Some point, like, at some point I remembered. But at some point they made down back 3 minus 15 on block. I can't remember what game it was in, but I just remembered being like, oh, guys.
5.1.
Oh yeah, that one. I just remember being like, guys, come on. That's just mean. That's Anna stuff.
I think Nina in DR is like just balanced, not too strong, not too weak, but she can play at a competitive level back then, I think. You don't get all the crazy things from 5.0, but the bread and butter back then was you had a godlight sidestep too. It's like it evaded like everything except like laser cannons, and you can just do sidestep. Then if something moves or whatever, just press 2. And if something doesn't move, press 1, so you can get the plus. So it's just like that I think was when Nina's really started to get technical, I think, for me. So yeah, and all the option selects and whatever, and I really missed her up forward one back then. Did you remember that? It's like her a forward one now, but
Scout
there's
splitter?
like a
Yep.
yeah, but there's like a block stun, and it launches on counter hit
Hit grounded, right?
and hit grounded, and
Yeah.
also it recovers on low profile, so you can't get electric or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
That
now
gun
you
had
can.
launched with actually a high bounce, wasn't it? So you could get
Yeah,
extra
that's
damage
right.
out of it.
And it's a good okay. Like if the opponent is rolling on the ground, you just sidestep one and a forward one, and you hit grounded. Yeah. So, but I think it's just really balanced. You had to rely on movement really in DR. Not too weak, not too strong. I think.
Another thing they took out in another one of the things they took out from 5.0, which was just super weird. Like a launch on counter hit wipe the floor. And they're like, no, this move is too fast. If you get counter hits on this, shit, the players they were really going after her for 5.1 was absurd, but the launch animation on counter hit wipe the floor, they were like, you can't have this back for. It was like parents taking a toy away. They're like, you can't have this back for 6 games. Give it back to you in 7.
And in DR, I think one of the Korean big tournaments, Nina was on grand finals.
Mm-hmm.
It was Nongbu.
That was Nongbu, right? Yeah.
Versus the Paul player, I forgot the name.
It was what's it called? It was Marduk player. Because he went on to play Marduk. What the hell's his name? Still around a bit, I think.
But that gave me the idea that Nina can be played at a high level in DR.
But I do remember that was Narakov, yeah.
Narakov, that's right, Narakov. Nongbu versus Narakov.
Also, but that was a tournament that was, I think, early enough in DR that weird stuff was going on. I think I remember Holman knee with Dragunov and something like that, and Dragunov was trash in that game. I remember Nongbu. He was the guy back then. Yeah, that's also one of the things that I think has changed Nina quite a lot, is that she's the character that got hurt the most by this, is the ability to really delay sidestep moves out of sidestep. I think that's something I noticed when I was playing. I think it is a 7 thing. I feel like they've increased that window a lot in 7 specifically. Because I was trying to do the thing of Brian, I was a Nina player. I would try and do sidestep, then wait and see, and then do one. I don't think you can. I just feel like in this game you just have to do sidestep. You just have to do sidestep.
You can in this game.
Yeah. And I think it's specifically a Tekken 7 thing. Right. Someone could correct me.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Agree.
So does that remove a big chunk of her meta, basically? That you can't sidestep, wait to see what they do. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, because it's a hugely powerful reaction whiff punisher.
Yeah.
Unbutton, really fast. Minus 14 in most games, but not DR. But also difficult to remember to punish optimally. Nina has a lot of moves where she sticks her hand up in the air like this. And you're oh, it's the right hand, and she's done this, and go. You successfully identified Nina move like this, number 17, the minus 14 one.
Yeah.
But
interesting, because I feel once we get to second 7, she was kind of screwed over by the system in both how it was homogenized, and I guess now that you mention it, that's probably another facet of her gameplay that was kind of just removed entirely, it sounds like. I guess like just to go sequentially in order. So Dark Resurrection, decidedly mid-tier Nina. I mean, I just want to ask, how did she fare against? Because the top dogs were like Mishima's and Ganryu, right? In Dark Resurrection. How did she fare against them?
Mort's probably like knows better than me, but like again, like it's not. I don't think it's like a matchup issue. It's not like one of these things where it'd be like, oh no, she can't punish any of the stuff they do, or she can't. It's just like, just in that game, they just cover space better and mix up better than her. So it's just, I don't think it's like
There's better characters.
Yeah, there's just better characters, but like, I think movement is a big balancing. Movement is just a big balancing factor in favor of the stronger player in that game. In general.
Actually, that's what I was gonna say. You just deal with them with movement, because like Tekken 5 series is like, it's not like the better who has the better moves wins. Who has the better movement wins, because it's like a game of chicken. You just then whoever this is in like higher levels. If you and whoever like loses his cool and does the move, then he's the one who's gonna get launched. So yeah, it's such a movement heavy game.
And going to a less movement heavy game, Tekken 6, which is kind of like where they started chipping away at system mechanics. I mean, I don't really remember many people using Nina in Tekken 6. I mean, should we start with 6.0? Or like, is there anything we can mention here between 6.0 and Bloodline Rebellion? I don't really know.
Combos were ridiculous in 6.0.
Oh yeah.
Every character's combos were ridiculous in 6.0, but remember, this is when she got her butterfly loops.
Ah, yeah.
And then when you go to the wall, so you could pretty much wall to wall anywhere, then bound with Ivory Cutter. And then I think in 6.0 you could do like down forward 3-2, sidestep 1, back up forward 3, and that would work as a wall hit.
Wow.
It was absurd. Like, yeah.
Yeah, like someone just commented that down forward 1-2, 1-2, 1+2 all connected at the wall, so the entire string. I mean, I'm not surprised in the slightest
as well.
I mean, this is the game where like Kazuya up forward 4-4-4-4, like that whole thing connected after a wall splat. So
yeah, I mean, it is basically just the the combo system that we have today, but it has one extra hit before the quick fall animation starts coming in. So like the best example of this is Law, an extremely Australian character in Tekken 6 from what I can remember. Was it Dion who used to play Law? I remember seeing Australian videos. But yeah, like so the classic thing in that game is like Law's wall combo is 4-3-4 SS forward and 3. In every situation, like Brian, for example, his combos are generally about to get good taunt follow-ups. Want to have them being hit twice in this game before quickfall starts, and in any game since BR. In 6.0 it was 3 times. So basically 3 times and then quickfall was the combo route in that game. So presumably, I mean, like it never like Nina probably never really got explored fully in 6.0. She probably had some absolutely dumb stuff involving like 10 sidestep ones into something or whatever. Yeah, like 6.0, I don't remember like any of the differences between 6.0 and BR Nina. Off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, the only ones I really know are just to do with the system changing from 6.0 to BR.
Sorry, I didn't play those games.
Yeah. Well, BR was the main competitive, mainstay for Tekken 6 in general. I mean, how was she in Bloodline Rebellion? Like fairly midish?
I think she was good. Like,
Yeah?
I think she's upper. She's definitely like upper tier in BR. It's just that, like, as in all of these games, you could just play someone easier.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but so I'm trying to think of moves that she has.
Well, butterfly is. I mean, she got the butterfly loops in Tekken 6. She also got her down too low in this one. So that opened the opportunity for the resets. It was like 19 damage, if I remember correctly. So it was really good as a low poke. Although it was low minus on hit, but still just as a low poke, it was great. So that really opened up her low game in general.
I think she was very, and like this is the thing. Like from 6.0, I think they pretty much sort of held her really stable. Like she hasn't changed much since 6.0 in general. She's just had few things added to her. So this was when she got ivory cutter loops. This was when I think she probably she still had 1+, like ivory cutter itself was still good. I think having down 2, I think it allowed her to like combo off stuff like sidestep both punches, which meant that she had like a super good, like I said, this super good sidestep game because have sidestep 1 short range plus sidestep 2 to whiff punish, and sidestep both punches as a mid, which is sort of a launcher.
Yeah, you could link with down 2 in that from Tekken 6 on. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, this is really where we started to see the Nina that we would see for the next few games. I think in terms of strengths and weaknesses. I think probably I think she's better in BR than she is in 7, for example. Partially because like all the characters in Tekken 7 are better than the ones in BR, and she's basically sort of pretty similar. And yeah, and also like just Ivory Cutter has a big hitbox in Tekken 6. It's just not plus like it was in previous games, but it's really hard to sidestep in one direction, and it has the range is like that's sort of the main difference with what you see nowadays. I mean, nowadays she still has like a lot of strong stuff that she didn't have in that game, but like the power difference between characters in Tekken 6 in BR and Tekken 7 is very large. Generally,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think that was also like when she got sort of orbital hand, like up forward 1. I think was the
she got that in 5.1. It launched in 6 though, didn't it? So it became
so that was the one where it's like it's an actual like launcher, not a weird ground hitting counter hit tool thing.
Sorry, I said that wrong anyway. She got that in Tekken 4, but yeah, she got it as a launcher, normal hit launcher in 6. Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like I said, she's like really recognizably similar. The same is probably true of Tag. And the main thing that really keeps her in, again, she's just super similar in Tag. She's just
Tag 2.
Sorry, yeah, Tag 2. She's just very
because a lot of people rated her as like top 3. I remember seeing Knee putting her like up there with like Mishimas and Lars's and Bob's and whatnot. I mean, like not as easy as Lars or Bob anyway, but like I remember people used to really rate Nina in Tag 2, especially the Koreans.
I think she was rated pretty high in 6 too.
Yeah,
generally.
I think she's very good. I think she's genuinely very good in both those games. I think she's probably like at least top 10. And in Tag 2, yeah, she's just got a lot of synergy with a lot of characters.
Yeah,
because she can she's got disgusting wall travel. She's got the only thing she couldn't really do was I think she couldn't end combos with anything stupid. Basically, you want to be able to end combos with either some kind of bullshit stance thing or an air grab. She didn't have that. But she had disgusting wall travel. She could convert off low tags with Ivory Cutter Bound. She had disgusting wall killer conversions, but she had the just frame down 3-4 down for one of her silly 4-hit kick strings, which has since been reduced.
4-3 down, neutral 4-3.
Yeah,
it was
Yeah,
actually
that's the
pretty
one.
easy. It wasn't much of a just frame, but when was it? It's at some point. I think it was in early Tag 2. It was just 4-3-4-3. So it was even easier. But yeah, that was really good as a tag assault.
4-3-4-3.
Yeah, like it is now in Tekken 7.
Yeah,
you're right. I mean, she didn't have the best combo enders, but as you said, her wall carry really made up for that. So she could easily get people to the wall, and then whatever combo you do, like I don't know, with Anna, for example, a common tag partner, you could do forward 3, CJM down forward, into quarter circle forward 2-1. Then Nina could finish with like 1-2 forward 1+2. It was still very high damage.
like Lars and Leo were also like pretty popular, and they just had these endless combos that just never finished. It should just be like you get Nina to the wall, and then Lars will bound, and then Nina will do her really long tag assault combo, and then Lars will do like either his 4-hit string or his grab into shoulder, and it just took a million years and did so much damage. I think this was when Down Back 2 was introduced, I think, in Tag 2, and it actually had an alright hitbox in that game.
She's had Down Back 2 a lot longer.
She's had... Was it a homing move at this point?
Yes,
I think.
correct. No, was that Tekken 6? Sorry.
That's the thing, I'm trying to remember when Down Back 2 became good.
It was still punishable in both of those. Was it punishable?
It was definitely safe. It was definitely safe and good in Tag 2.
Right.
Tag 2 was okay.
I think that was the one where it became. So yeah, it like became a bit of a like can't sort of attack into space for Nina at this point, because she could do stuff like she could just be at range and she'd be like sidestep 1, and then if you do short range things, she can back sway out of it. If she might like jump out at you with forward 1 or back 2, like, so she had this weird sort of mid-range game where she can leap out at you with this stuff, or just continue like or just continue like whiffing sidestep 1s, and you're like, do I want to let you whiff things?
You're completely right. When I wasn't playing back then, but I was watching. It's like mainly only practice when I was watching Tag 2. She would do sidestep 1, sort of like a barrier for anyone that tries to go in, And if like they try to get the frame advantage, that's the time when he could start pressing some stuff from sidestep 1. So yeah, if your sidestep 1s are clean, it's almost safe.
Yeah, very difficult to get in on, and yeah, so you're like, if you try and set up stuff from the outside, she could you can move out at you from the sidestep 1 shield a bit better than she could in the past, but she had down back 2 and she had up forward 1. So yeah, interesting character to watch. Like, yeah, I think very, very good, but very, very difficult. And I think guys like Only Practice generally had quite divergent tournament results, because it had to be either very hot, very hot on point on the day, or quite cold. Like sometimes he would do super well, and sometimes he would just get wrecked. But yeah, both that and Tag 2, like again, like I think are very, very similar levels of character strength for very similar reasons. I mean, like I said, in general, kept very, very stable. I'm curious about like AFriendlyTree. I'm curious about 7.0, because this is obviously like trash Tekken. What was Nina like in that?
Nina wasn't in 7.0.
There was no Nina.
Oh, was she? Of course, no. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've completely forgetting. Like, it was her, Lee, and Miguel and stuff,
That's right. She came back with the wedding dress.
They came a lot later.
Yeah.
With the PS4.
Yeah.
She came with the PS4.
She was at the arcades in Japan
Oh.
and Korea for quite a while before console.
Mm.
But yeah, most of the world didn't get her until console.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, and one of the things I noticed when they brought all of these characters out, is I was just like, all the legacy characters who came out in 7.0, changed them, they powered them up and changed them quite a lot.
Mm.
Whenever they released legacy ones in the legacy ones for like console release, I'd be like, oh, these are really similar to their Tag 2 versions. Like,
Yeah.
and I
Maybe
think
lost a few
that
things
sort
here or
of
there.
Yeah.
yeah, that gate cap, like they got gate capped quite a lot in the early game. I was just like, what are you expecting people to do with Lee and Miguel in this game when they first came out? Like, but also like, just like, okay, Nina has, I guess that rage drive is good. And it was just like, but I don't know what she's supposed to be doing to compete.
Like, you're right.
Yeah.
I remember with 7.0, like, Law had 3+4, Kazuya had forward 4. They made Jin's electric a natural launcher. All the legacy characters had this insane shit. And then, yeah, when it came to console, it's like, oh, well, here's Miguel. He's pretty much the same. Enjoy. Yeah.
Nina did have a few changes when she came out in 7, though, of course. So there were a lot of strengths there. It's just she didn't work as well in the system of Tekken 7, I don't think. So, I mean, for example, she got a running blonde bomb, which neutral on block. Was it neutral on block at start? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was neutral, I think.
Yeah.
So, considering everyone said approach was such a tough thing with her, it was a method of approaching, even if it's incredibly linear. Things like her blonde bomb, it became -14 instead of -17. So at least not everyone could launch it. What else did we have? Oh, down 2 became neutral on hit.
Yeah,
That was, of
a
course, at the
weird
trade of
one.
a lot of damage loss.
Yeah, because that was the one where people were like, oh man, this is going to be super good now. And it just didn't feel like it. Like, yeah, I guess that's the thing, is that you'd rather have... Because no one really pressed buttons after down 2 anyway, because they were scared of follow-up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so it's the damage nerf. Okay, I wasn't actually aware they changed the damage a lot, but that does make a lot of sense.
Quite dramatically, actually. So it does 13 damage now. When, like in 6, I think I said it did like 19. And it would have done
That's
20-something in Tag 2. So really big drop.
Yeah.
For a key poke for her, that's quite devastating.
Yeah, and that builds up. It's like, if you do a few of them in a match, that's like 30 points of damage right there, just gone easily. I mean, just to kind of go over kind of Nina in every game. So like 3 in tag, she was fairly middling. 4 and 5, she was top. Dark Resurrection, middling again. And then 6 and tag 2, like, again, not top, but like definitely up there, top 10. And then going to 7, she's pretty similar to what she is in 6, but she's just been power craps completely. And her wall carry doesn't mean anything anymore because everyone has amazing wall carry. So
Yeah, agree.
or whatever. And the sidesteps, like, for a character who's kind of fundamentally based around her sidestep, that hurts her as well. So she was kind of power crapped by a lot of the characters, and the system changes didn't do her any favors. So she's now, even though she's the same, like, really strong character as in Tag 2 or 6, she's just been, surpassed by, like, most of the cast now. So now I guess in 7.0, or at least Season 1, she's fairly middling, and not much has been done since Season 1 to change that, at least for the amount of effort you need to put into her.
Season 1, Nina Nina still had the advantage for wall carry over all the other characters.
Yes.
If you watch like Season 1 tournaments and stuff, like a lot of combos doesn't reach the wall. But now it almost always reaches the wall, So yeah, Nina has the advantage, but when they buffed like Josie, Dragunov combos, and when Julia came out, like everybody's doing the same thing, that like carrying wall to wall. So yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone can go wall to wall in most situations that will happen in an actual match. And in that regard, Nina lost her identity, I suppose.
Yeah, Lee as well. Lee fell in
There's
that boat.
another thing from this Tekken 7 system that I wanted to bring up. I hope this is an alright time. Is the counter hit trades,
Right.
because that's really disadvantaged her too, I think.
Yeah.
Why specifically?
Well, I'm trying to think of a really good example here, but there's not really any move except for forward 3 where if you counter hit trade, Nina will be in a favourable position.
Right. So she's generally like approaching with down forward 1, and it's like before, if a magic 4 and a down forward 1 traded, it would be sort of like even, but now like just Nina gets destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I
if
mean,
you like
you can...
go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, if you do a jab with a magic 4, you can get a blonde bomb a lot of the time, or you might still be able to get a rage out, but that's probably the best situation for a counter hit trade, except for forward 3, and you've got to be careful throwing out forward 3, of course. Things like Ivory Cutter, which should still be a strong tool that we use as possible. The damage it does means that you don't even get extra damage on counter hit.
Yeah.
So if you trade with a jab, you do less damage than the opponent, and you might have a small bit of frame advantage, but it's really not favourable for her, really.
Just to add on the trade situation, like if you trade like an Ivory Cutter and a Steve back one, you're gonna get comboed. unlike when you like Steve back one versus Leroy back 1+2, if they trade, nothing happens. It's but Nina always gets the bad end of almost always gets the bad end of a trade, like in 7, I think.
Okay. I mean, just to sort of reiterate, I guess her main strengths and weaknesses have stayed the same for like over a decade now. But in current version of Tekken 7, Tekken 7 Season 3, Season 4 just around the corner, what are her main strengths and weaknesses?
Sorry, in Tekken 7?
Yeah, like right now, like if I were to go to the character select screen, pick Nina, like what are the reasons? Like what are her main strengths, and what are her main weaknesses?
Okay, should I go ahead?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So main strengths of Nina is her counter hit tools right now. She has so many counter hit tools compared to the rest of the cast. Like for example, if you want like there's a magic 4 and there's a forward 2. Forward 2 is like a longer magic 4, but 2 frames lower. If you can confirm it, like counter hit forward 2. Then if you see that it counter hit, just press 1-4. Then it's a combo.
Right.
Yeah. So
how's the whiff recovery on forward 2? How's the whiff recovery on forward 2?
Pretty decent. Like it's just like you whiff the DF1.
Okay.
Okay.
Forward 2 is good. I really like that move. Plus 8 on hit too on its own.
And sometimes if you see it whiff, you can just do 1-4. Regardless.
Yeah.
So there's a like there's
a mind game there.
There's like that kind of mind games also. Yeah. And like magic 4, FF3, down back 2, sidestep 4, wipe the floor. They're all counter hit launchers. So yeah, there's a lot of counter hit launchers for Nina.
Okay, so counter hit game. But a lot of those counter hits aren't like in her favor on a trade, because I'm guessing it's the nature of the stun afterwards. They don't do like a crumple stun or something, or she can't pick up from them. Like I'm guessing a lot of her pickups from these counter hits are quite finicky, so on a trade they're just not going to work out.
Mostly it's in her favor, except for maybe forward 2.
Okay.
Everything I think because it's either crumple, stun, or they float.
Okay.
And Nina can convert off of a trade float.
Okay.
Like, for example, you trade the jab with the Magic 4. Nina's Magic 4 trades with the jab with the opponent. You can still QCF1 it. You can still, convert it into a combo.
Yeah.
Most
Can
of the
you
time.
consistently? I haven't had much luck a lot of the time with that.
Most of the time. For me.
Okay.
It depends on what hit you.
Sorry.
Of course, if it knocked out, you can't.
I'm a little confused then, because one of her strengths is her counter hit game. So why would the counter hit trade not be in Nina's favor? Like overall, I was a little bit confused.
We're talking about the not with the poking.
Okay.
When you trade with the pokes,
Okay.
you lose most of the time.
Okay.
Unless you use the counter hits. Yeah.
Okay. So pokes, of course, like that's another one of her strengths. Like she is the original pokey character. Pokes. I mean, sorry, guys, go for it. So counter hit game, pokes.
I think it's specifically like keep out.
Yeah.
With the sidestep one shield, and because sidestep one, homing move, orbital, and stuff. I think a lot of again, you guys know more than I do, but it's like you can set up an outside game in order to which is a sort of outside shield game, and then sort of once they're like, oh, actually, I don't want to attack into this, then she can move in, attack. It's just the problem that it's not quite as it's not quite as rewarding as other characters who have simpler options.
I just want to add back 2-2 and QCF3 are also good counter hit tools that are hit confirmable. Back 2-2-2. It's kind of strong right now. It's kind of strong right now because it's 12 frame homing. Jail. So and very easy to hit confirm, and it wall splats. So not for example, if you block a Kasumi DF1, a lot of characters can't deal with if Kasumi DF1, then she sidesteps then fuzzies. A lot of characters can't deal with that. They have to risk, but Nina can just back 2-2 without getting risk of getting DF1 on block Magic 4 of Kasumi. So that's some of the advantages right now.
Okay. Good. So sorry, AFriendlyTree, you wanted to add something?
I've got some more. So, I mean, combo damage is still a strong thing of hers. I know it's high execution, but in the scheme of things, it is higher than average generally. You can get if you've got godlike execution in the right situation, you can get 76 damage off a down forward too. If you've got the execution to do butterfly loops, you can get 74 damage, and it's not too challenging. If you can do
for you, it's not too challenging. I can't do that shit.
So, I mean, that also comes to a wall carry. Once again, even though most characters can get to the wall, she does still have above average wall carry. She's still one of the best characters for wall carry in the game.
Yeah.
It's just the situations don't arise as often.
Yeah, where it's just her who can get that wall splat that anyone else couldn't. Yeah.
Don't forget about her evasive movement. So Hayashida Step may not be as beneficial in this game, but it is still effective in a lot of matchups. So you can backsway your Hayashida out of a lot of situations that other characters have a lot of trouble with. And then you also have things like her back 1 and her side step 2, which do have added evasion and do have some unique situations you can use them.
Okay. So, evasive movement, pokes, and I guess on top of pokes, pressure, rush down, her ability to stay in your face with plus frames and kind of stick to you, like a sticky, aggressive, kind of poking pressure. Keep out, damage, counter hits. I mean, this kind of sounds like it covers all the bases. On paper, she sounds incredible, right?
Yeah.
She sounds like some kind of god character. So why is she decidedly mid-tier then?
Can I start this time?
Yeah, go for it.
So So
And her throw game's pretty good too,
oh,
as well, isn't it? She has a
her
pretty
throw
decent-
game is pretty good. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Like her down forward 2+4 gives a free forward 3, which is amazing. So a lot of it comes down to just inconsistencies. So I think a lot of the Nina players would agree that if she didn't have the inconsistencies in her moveset, then she'd be very strong. And she still is very strong. Her block punishment is below average. So while before she had an amazing 14 frame punisher in earlier games, now it's considered below average compared to a lot of the cast. Her 10 frame isn't that good. Her 12 frame's okay. Her 13 frame is, you might as well use her 12 frame in this situation. I don't think she really has any threatening mids either. So despite like wipe the floor as a knockdown low, there's not too much incentive to duck against her, I don't think.
Right.
In general, I think there's characters either have powerful mids or powerful lows. And this sort of doesn't really have either of those things. Like it's not super scary to duck against her. There's no it's not like one of these complete at-will application mid moves coming to kill you if you do it like a Kazuya down back 2 or a Heihachi forward and 3. One of these like super good all-purpose mid moves which is coming to fuck you up for ducking. Like, it's not that scary to stand block against either. So
is this sort of like an Armor King situation?
He's like big rewarding some big rewarding safe mids. A bit like that. But yeah, so she has some big rewarding safe mids. She's got orbital heal and sidestep both punches and so on. But you sort of have to be. This is you have to be relying on the fact that your opponent is simply guessing at that point, and that you have to set them up as sort of a rhythmic thing because they're so much slower than other things and so on. That it's very difficult to apply a mid. Against just like someone who's just pressing buttons and occasionally fuzzying and all that other kind of stuff. I don't think she's strong in either mix up, either stage of a mix up really.
I agree for season 1 and 2, but I think for season 3 when they put out the sidestep 4 with from negative 15 to minus 14. I think that's it really added a lot.
It was a very welcome buff.
Yeah, very welcome buff for Nina. It's a launcher as well, so a counter hit launcher. Yeah. So, but I think when people ask me how what's the mentality for playing Nina, I start them with Nina is like a Steve. He can play it like a Turtley Steve like that. Like for Steve, there are no threatening lows as well. It takes
Unless
a
he
long
gets to the
time
wall.
for Steve to, unless you get to the wall, right?
Yeah.
So I think Nina's the same way as Steve. There's no really reason to duck like Steve and Nina as well. But unless you're at the wall, then things get a lot more complicated.
Right.
So yeah, because a lot of people really can't press versus Nina because of the lots of counter hit tools. But if they don't press, you just get them to the ball.
Yeah.
Like Steve.
And I guess one thing that Nina does have over Steve in open ground is that throw game, and Steve's throw game isn't great. So if she needs to,
It's okay. It's okay up to a certain level.
Yeah, but I feel at the wall, she doesn't have. At the wall, what is really scary with Nina? Does she have a strong wall game? Because I never ever felt that intimidated by Nina against the wall. I never thought.
Oh yeah.
It's,
you want to start?
See, I still... Okay, you start.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I still don't see a huge reason to duck against her at the wall. Even with, from Season 1 to Season 2, they reduced the pushback on Sidestep 1 on block, but you can still sort of just block and wait, and
Yeah.
Nina will slowly be pushed back. They might throw out an evil mist, and you can see that coming.
Yeah.
And just duck. But other than that, you can eat the lows. You can take the lows all day, and
I
just
think
wait
Brian
for
can
them to
actually
eventually
Brian
get
can actually
greedy.
punish Evil Mist on reaction with full crouch down forward 4. It's cool.
Oh, there you go.
It's quite
Very
it's
common for
quite
players
hard,
to
though.
crouch
Yeah.
and prone while standing and get
Yeah.
hit by the mist.
For some reason, like there's something about being in full crouch. It doesn't like ask for activation frames on when you're doing it against Evil Mist. So you can just like high crushing stuff passes straight through it totally consistently if you do it from full crouch.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Yeah, Evil Miss is like, just style move, that
Mhm.
really doesn't really fit in any high level competitive Nina play, I think. Unless you're facing against Steve and you have a hard read over like back
yeah.
one or an electric. Yeah. Or an electric versus Devil Jin. But that's just style owning on people when you can just duck and launch.
Yeah, I'm again, as Friendly Tree was saying, I feel like with Nina, at least when my back is to the wall against her, I just try to sidestep and work my way out so my back isn't against the wall, and I'll happily take a few lows whilst I'm there. It's fine. I mean, but like comparing it to Steve, it's like, oh well, I have to guess between down back 3 and quarter circle forward 1. That's just like straight up a guess, and it's really hard to get out of.
I think Nina Nina has a lot of control over the ball. It's very hard to get out
Yeah,
because like you have the DF 1+2. Then if you're like just and if it gets you in the right time, you get wall splat and the back 2-2. And if like the DF 1+2 got blocked, it's in perfect range of a down back 2, another tracking move that wall splats. So and the sidestep ones, it's really hard to get out, but there's no really big low threat until this season, the season 3, when the sidestep 4 got buffed.
So in terms of down forward 1+2, like again, like my Nina knowledge isn't the best, but this, even for like moves which do ballerina stun spin on, like this one seems to be, it's still like it seems to be weirdly inconsistent. Like, which is one of the is that still true in season 3? Have they fixed it at all? I remember just like not wall stunning when it's supposed to a lot of times.
This is an interesting topic. I don't really think it's ever been that inconsistent. Like, the problem is people were doing the typical wall combos and typical setups, and then they do it and it wouldn't work. And if you go and lab it, it depends on the wake up option that the opponent uses. So like a get up mid kick will be wall splat, but other things won't. It's just to do with the character's hurt boxes. If you change your wall hit, for example, if you use an up forward 3 instead of a blonde bomb, you're closer to the opponent and you do it and it'll wall splat. But the other thing I wanted to bring up with this is if you're near the wall, if you set it up right, it'll do the ballerina spin, and it's plus 20. And some of you may seen on Twitter, it was shared the fact that you can actually get a guaranteed back 1 in the right situations.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I posted that also.
Yeah.
You mean as in like she sidesteps into their back, or
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Unblockable.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's incredibly cool.
Yes.
I like that a lot.
I had no idea. I'd like to see that, actually. If anyone has a clip in the chat, I'd love to like show it.
In my Twitter, they can. I'll retweet it.
Okay, cheers.
Yeah.
That sounds super cool.
But to add on there are like 2 camps of the, because down forward 1+2 got changed back in, I think, season 2. Is that correct? 3.
Season 2, it got a tailspin. Season 3 is when the pushback changed.
Oh yeah. Oh, so season 3, because back in season 2, before the current version of the down forward 1+2, the ballerina leaves the opponent like farther on hit than it is today. So it wall splat more back then. But now it's like ballerina, but towards
Yeah.
Dina's left right now. So so it got nerfed when a lot of people think it got nerfed when it came to like wall splatting. But for me, at the other side of the camp, we think it got buffed because
I'm the same.
when you're doing it, when you hit it on neutral, you get a free 50-50.
Yeah, you didn't before. It would whiff a lot of the
You
time.
didn't before, yeah. You get a free 50-50. Like you can do a down back 3 or a down 2 a low that can't get parried, low parried, because down 2 and down back 3 are 20 frames, and the DF1 plus 2 is plus 20. So it's a force block situation. And the mid option, if you're fast enough, you can do a forward 2. A forward 2-1. You know, some people can Twitch confirm it, some don't. It's a highly debatable topic in the Nina community, if it's hit confirmable or not. Yeah, but
It's a 9-frame gap, so good luck.
Yeah, yeah. So it's it depends on what your taste, you know. So I think down forward 1 plus 2 got buffed.
Okay, I mean, generally, like the season 2 and the season 3 changes. I mean, you mentioned sidestep 4 as well. What were the more meaningful changes, and did they really help Nina, like in a meaningful way? Like, were her?
Go ahead.
I guess I want to say were her main. I don't want to say were her main weaknesses addressed. I mean, I don't like that idea of balancing. We're just like, you know, kind of plugging in the holes.
I don't either.
Weaknesses, but
I don't either. I don't think they should target her main weaknesses, but they should make her like her archetype stronger, or the things she's good at should excel.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, all the changes that they've made, I think not all, but a lot of the changes they've made, it's improved her combo damage by doing the high execution routes.
Sure.
It's helped improve her wall carry and her combo routes in general. It's they've tried to make her more sticky. So just the added frames in different situations, the added homing. They've tried to make it so you can't just backdash away as easily or just step out of these different situations.
Right.
So I think they're definitely trying to approach it, and just the issue really is the power creep in general.
Yeah.
So while they're
Everyone's just a bit
trying
better.
to do it, everyone else is also going higher and higher.
They gave her this, like, was it running 3-4 or running 4-3? Was it in
Running
season
3-4,
three?
yes.
Running 3-4, and that does that move still not work properly? Like,
Yeah, it doesn't work properly.
and they haven't.
Yeah,
fixed it.
so I agree with Tree that they really don't have to buff her core moves to be like better, because if they buffed her core moves, it's base fundamental moves, then it would be like more of the same with the other characters. I agree with like moving her towards the archetype that they want. Like if they want her to have wall carry, then you know, let running 3-4 connect at the end of the juggle. You know, if they want an archetype of you know, wall carry character like that.
I don't understand why it doesn't, though, because that seems to be its only intended purpose.
It's very frame tight. It does work. So you could say they're trying to give us Nina players another high execution challenge. So you can still do
you
it.
need more.
Yeah, you need more. You just have to drop a while standing one or have absolutely godlike execution.
I bet the nerds will love this, they say.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
go for it.
Okay. You don't really use it in my while standing one combos. If I'm doing while standing one, I'll probably do the dash up quarter circle forward one for wall carry instead.
Right, more consistent.
Because it's a lot easier.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I think there's a point to combos where it's like, if I practice this enough, can it be reasonably consistent even in a tournament environment? And there are some combos where it's just like, nah, this is not worth the effort, even if it is a bit more challenging, it has a bit more
I used to compute that before. You know, what's the difference if I do the hard combo and this combo? Okay, so 8 damage. So I have to do this like 85% of the time. I have to make it. You know, I compute that if it's worth it to do or what. So if he can't hit 85, it's not worth doing. It's like that.
Yeah. Like mathematically, you can seriously just like do it. Like if I land this X amount of times in a match, how much? Like what are the statistics on
Difference.
if I drop it once? Yeah, like what do I lose?
Yeah.
I mean, aside from that, like what are the other moves that are just like constantly seem to miss, that are really inconsistent? Like, it seems like every week there's another clip about Nina like just her limbs just going through things. So what are the main offenders here? Like which moves do you really wish would operate more consistently?
There's that glitch where comeback 2 just misses if you're backdashing at the right time.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Do you want to know why that is? So, the Tekken overlay that was created recently. I know one of the people that developed it. I was able to test that, and so it's more consistent on Leo. And what happens? The down back 2, the hitbox is at that perfect height where when the characters are backdashing, it hits between their elbows and their knees sometimes.
Fantastic. I guess like also the other one that I've seen and heard a lot is like Divine Cannon. Like in general, like Nina has a weird thing where she has like a whole bunch of sort of not that quick mid-range whiff punishers, which none of them work that well on what they're supposed to do. Like she's got upward 2-1, Divine Cannon, and back 1+4, and it's just, I mean, like again, this is just from like looking at stuff. There do seem to be like significant points where people can just like miss a down forward 2 at a certain range, and none of Nina's multiple options will work on this. Like but yeah, I've seen Divine Cannon specifically missing in very weird situations.
Yeah,
Divine Cannon is one of the worst offenders if it's in a low profile enough, because the hitbox is a little high even though it's a mid. So yeah, and one of the also weird worst offenders is back 1+4 reverse
that's
ivory.
Horrible one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because sometimes for some weird reason, like the first hit, the second whiffs, and vice versa, something like that. So it can't reliably whiff punish.
Yeah. So I have some thoughts about why this is. So it's a lot of the time when you're whiff punishing, of course, the character's hurt boxes are in a different position because of the attack they've done.
Right.
And you connect with the first move, does a lovely 4 damage,
and then
sometimes the character returns to their original hitbox or their original position out of the move animation because there's not enough hit advantage on the first move, or there's too much time between. So then suddenly that comes back and they can either block it or it whiffs. So sometimes you can do a whiff punish and it connects and you're like, great, I've got it. You do 4 damage, then they block the second hit and you're minus 15.
You die.
Yay.
Oh, I haven't thought of it that way, but yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because when you land the first hit of, like, if they're in mantis stance or whatever, and you land the first hit of back 1+4, after the first hit, they go to standing position, right?
Yep, exactly.
And that's why the second hit sometimes whiffs, because of they go back to that standing position.
It's a real shame. It's something they could easily fix, because just increasing the hit stun on the first move, or something like that, would have no impact on the game except for using that move as a punisher, as a whiff punisher. Yes.
Or just add I think they do this with some other moves. They add invisible second hits onto things. Like, just add like an invisible hit between the two, pulls them in towards the kick. Like, I think that's how they change pushback some of the time. They just hack in like invisible pushback moves.
Yeah, I just think it must be so frustrating to play like arguably one of the hardest characters in the game, both in terms of game plan and execution, but also at the same time, arguably the most inconsistent character in the game. So it's like, yeah, we want you to work really, really, really hard with this character, but occasionally she's just not going to work properly.
Yeah, even with the bread and butter like consistent combos, like for example, you hit the Magic 4 and you do the like QCF1, Magic 4 QCF1, QCF1. If you're the actual follow up to that is QCF1 forward 214. That's the easy one, the bread and butter. But if you are a Nina player and you do QCF1, and you sort of check if forward 2-1 is gonna whiff or not. If not, just do another 2 and then FF3. There's some. Why make it that hard? When others Magic 4 combos are like very easy.
I'll always opt after Magic 4 to do a dash down 4-1 because I find that consistent.
Yeah. So some other people, they have a different taste. It's a expression character.
Yeah.
Well,
with like a lot of characters in Tekken, you can put them into like a quadrant of like benefits off robbery interactions, doesn't get hurt by robbery interactions, like doesn't benefit off robbery interactions and doesn't like get hurt. Like, so you could be like, so if you want like a character who like classic characters who will rob people but not get robbed. Like the classic example is obviously Fak and Zafina. Like these are characters where like stuff will happen and it will generally like I don't want to say like stuff is random, but weird things will happen, and it will probably be to your benefit as a Fak and Zafina player. It will be your move going through something where you didn't expect it to, and you will win out. Meanwhile, like your core moves will connect. Like this means that these characters like load a lot of the inconsistency of Tekken onto their opponents, which is why we saw a lot of people from other games like picking up Zafina, because you get to play a sort of much more consistent version of the game than your opponent's playing. You've got characters that don't really get robbed and don't rob people that much either. It's probably like Jack. Like his stuff is just pretty consistent. Could be another example. Be like Jin. Jin doesn't really get robbed very much. Like it's just like you just do Jin stuff and it's just Jin. Like character who gets robbed and robs people is obviously Raven. Like because you'll see like Raven players will complain a lot about like 4-4-3 misses sometimes, but then obviously they'll never be like, oh yeah, my character's neutral stance should avoid jabs. Yeah, that's good. That's good. But yeah, like Nina is like she's in the worst quadrant. She gets robbed by weird interactions, but she rarely like robs the other person. Like there's occasional stuff where it'll be like, oh, side step 2, or maybe like back 1 will do something so totally wacky. But it's not really core move type things.
True.
But
do you want some more?
Go ahead. I was gonna go.
You're gonna list more bugs too? Okay, so the next one I'm gonna go about is a quick one to discuss, is her back 2-2. So look, it's an amazing move. It's very strong as it is right now, but there's still a little inconsistency with it that I need to bring up. So prior to Tekken 7, back 2-2 was +2 on block. Sorry, +2 on hit and +2 on counter hit. In Tekken 7, back 2-2 became +5 on hit and +2 on counter hit, because for some reason they forgot to carry that over.
Oops.
Because they're punishing you for being cowards, not finishing it on counter hit, right?
Evidently.
That's weird. I had no idea. That's
yeah. But to talk about Nina's because I think for the past few minutes we've been talking about negatives. But for Nina's merit, I think she has a lot of moves that deal with a lot of situations that that only she and a lot basically almost all situations she can deal with. Like she has those esoteric like moves that doesn't get used that much. I know Tree loves those kinds of techs, but yeah, there's a lot of um, things that Nina can deal with that other characters have to deal manually, and Nina can just take it out. Yeah, like for example, Yoshi's Flash, Nina can just 1+4 that without getting um um get hit by the flash, because if you see the data, it's like the hurt box remains here, but the hit box extends.
Right.
So you
Extending
can
hitbox.
use that versus Akuma down 2. You can use that without getting fear of getting hit by Akuma down 2 or Leroy back 1+2 if you space it at a certain range, and there's really 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 a lot of things that like the weird moves that Nina gets usage out of to get out of situations. Would you agree, Tree?
Well, I mean, in regards to, it kind of sounds like in a robbery situation, there are a lot of situations where people may think they have, a guaranteed mix-up or some kind of guaranteed pressure, and Nina will have a way out of it, won't she?
Yes, that's right. Like for example,
I agree.
There's really a lot of small things. Like we would spend the whole day if I enumerate them. Like for example, Chloe's 1-2 mix-up, Nina can just backsway everything. Jin's 1-2 mix-up, Nina can just backsway. Lily's 1-2 mix-up, just sway. A lot of things. And if you block Lost Hammer, you can just sidestep sway for for everything. Yeah. There's a lot of really a lot of things that if you know it, would save you a lot of things like that could have been defended manually.
But it's all very intentional. It's not like, oh, well, I just went under that and now you're dead.
Yeah, but she can get away with a lot of guaranteed 50-50 mix-ups or lots of bad situations because she has a lot of weird properties also.
Yeah.
She has a 3-frame airborne move, 3 frames to activate.
I love that move.
Yeah. So it can get out of a lot of situations. Yeah, for example, there are setups like Akuma guaranteed Raging Demon. You can get away with that. A lot of situations as long as you know. So you just need to cram it all up. That's why Nina is so hard of a character. Because you have to retain all that information and not just retain, do it, execute it at the right time,
Like like you mentioned earlier, like it's not like she has like a hammer and like a chainsaw or whatever. It's like all these little fine surgical tools that you need to know when to use.
Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, Swiss Army knife. That's it. That's what I'm going for.
She's not pick up and play.
Okay, so I mean, season 4 is just around the corner, and I'm sure like if we're gonna ask something for Nina, it's gonna be consistency. So that down forward 2, back 1+4, running 3-4, back 2-2. Other than that, and I think that's a given, what would you like to see with Nina in season 4?
A low crushing up forward 1. Yeah, I'd like that.
That'd be nice.
That's so funny. You get floated by a generic down 4, and you're doing an orbital.
Oh, really? I have no idea. Oh.
That's
it's the same with a Rage Drive and a running Blonde Bomb.
Yeah. Same.
So while you're airborne, you can be floated by a low. But then there's also a few frames before it's active where you can be counter hit launched normally too. That's one change I'd quite like. So it's not a bug, it's not an inconsistency, it's just how the move is. I'd quite like them to raise her hitbox while she's airborne, and I'd quite like them to maybe make the first active frame the first one that she's grounded again. So you can have a counter hit trade, but you can't be counter hit launched during that start. You can still be jab floated, there's still risk involved, you can still step it, but at least it's not that risky.
I'd like
there's like a whole bunch of...
sorry.
was gonna say, like, there's a whole bunch of stuff where like there's moves where like the airborne state and the tech jump state or low crush state, they just don't match up at all.
Yeah.
Like King's Knuckle Bomb is the classic example, which also has, as you said, standing count hit frames just before it lands.
Yes.
But yeah, and like every time I see this kind of stuff, I'm just like, why did you think this was a good? This looks stupid. Like, it looks dumb whenever someone gets floated out of this stuff with a down. Like, it just looks. I never understand why why it makes any. Because I can understand why you would want airborne frames in certain points in certain moves and not. Like, you'd want to differentiate between airborne and low crush, right? You don't want like Eddie's stuff to suddenly be getting magical like low crush properties because he's in airborne state. But why stuff like Knuckle Bomb or Nina's up forward 1 like just looks dumb every time it happens.
It's heartbreaking when it happens.
Yeah. I lost the tournament once because of that.
Oh yeah, that's a heartbreak.
Because for Rage Drive versus AK, where I Rage Drive. It was final round. I Rage Drive, then he down forward, and it hit me. It floated by Rage Drive.
Down 4. Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Another big change I'd like to see is with her Ivory Cutter. So I've talked about her damage before, how the first hit is 4 damage. So it's 4 then 20, 24 damage. I don't mind if they keep the damage the same, just redistribute it so that if you get a counter hit, you at least get 1 point of damage extra compared to normal hits.
Right.
And I also mentioned before with weaknesses. So I said she doesn't really have any threatening mids. I'm wondering maybe if we could make it so Ivory Cutter on crouch is similar to something like a Mishima forward 4, where it's plus 13, or Hachi's forward 4. Plus 13 for Nina would only give her a down forward 1-2, leaving her plus 2.
We not do like a cooler move. We not have like back 1 plus 2 do something cooler.
I've lost all hope on back 1 plus 2. The time I had a big body character and I was at a balcony break, it was Marduk. I did the down forward 3-2, back 1 plus 2 for the balcony break. And the first hit connects, the second hit he just goes flying away across the screen. He's like, alright, no more hope with this move.
Yeah, maybe I've got PTSD from Ivory Cutter from past games. That was one of the other weird things. Like in Tag 2, her Ivory Cutter was like, that is one of the significant nerfs between her and 6 and her in this game. The Ivory Cutter does not track sidestep anymore in really much in either direction. It used to be in pretty much every game previously. It used to track sidestep left, I think, very consistently. I don't think it tracks sidestep at all much in this game, right? A
little bit, not great. Second hit tracks a bit.
Yeah. In Tag 2, with Tag 2 being what it was, I think it tracked if you buffered Tag into it.
Correct.
So,
yes.
Fantastic. Yeah. I think A mid. I like back 1 plus 2. I think it looks cool. I think they should do something with 1 plus 2.
Yeah, speaking of changes, the running 3-4, it should connect,
Yeah, that's consistent.
Namco, please.
Yeah.
Bring back Nina as the queen of wall carry,
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice if she had that as her
I think they could also... I think they could increase the damage on her while standing 4, like they did with Bob.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Because... there's a lot of decent while standing, 11 to 12 frame stuff, and she's not really all that when it comes to while standing punishment. I don't know about increasing, maybe increase the range on her while standing 2 as well. That's probably fine.
The while standing 2 and down 2 have horrible range.
Yeah, I'm fine with down forward 2 having horrible range. Down forward 2s, I'm done with down forward 2s, but while standing 2 is probably a bit remember when Nobi was like, and also while standing 2 has pretty bad range, Namco. And they're like, got you, son. Next patch.
Not up. Yeah, yeah. Like I think most of these suggestions are more in the field of quality of life and making this character work as as intended, and plus a strong mid, like a stronger mid, whether it's back 1+2 or ivory cutter or whatever. Okay, so let's talk a bit.
I mean, just to like, to I don't like, because I think she's. It's the thing, like she's not like the guy said. I don't think she's a character that misses anything. I mean, it's to me, it's like a shame that we don't see more Nina, because she's a cool technical character, but she is. I don't think like transforming her significantly would be helpful. Like it's like the whole Kazuya Hell Sweep thing. It was just like, oh, this is ugly. I don't like this. Like this, you're taking away core parts of the character to make him better. I want to see him. I want to see Kazuya being represented in tournaments as some idiot character. I want to he's almost a perfectly balanced character as he exists. It's just that there are easy, dumber characters above him. But there isn't really much I would significantly say about changing Kazuya. There's really much I would say about considering if her the way her move set fits together. And Nina is a very expressive and personality-driven character. She's super well balanced. You wouldn't want her to be someone that idiots could pick up and do well with by giving her crazy stuff that is outside the realm of.
I agree.
I mean, and we didn't have to ban anyone either.
I know, right? We were saying before, if anyone suggested giving her a tracking down forward 1, it's like off, bye. But no.
I don't want a game where every second move is down forward 1. I realize it was very strong and very key to her gameplay in the past, but I don't think it needs to be that way again.
Yeah, she really doesn't. She has a lot of tools anyway. It's just the consistency. If you're a Nina player and damn, I set up that magic for so long. Give me my reward. Make the juggle, make the combo consistent at least. Damn, I set up that whiff. Make my back 1+4 hit them. It's just give me my reward. Yeah.
I would honestly take out some of the knowledge checks for Nina, which they have sort of done in the past. They've taken out some, they've taken out some of her strings and stuff. I would change some of them. Down 3-4-3. This. I mean, it's not a good move, but it's also really annoying. It's also really annoying for new players to deal with. It's really irritating, and then they'll be like, "Oh, do I duck the second hit then?" And then they'll get hit by down 3-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the fact that those strings are sidestepped in opposite directions.
Yeah.
You can. Females can step
the Williams ones. I think it probably depends on your character because I play Brian.
Brian has to sidestep right.
He has to sidestep right against Nina and left against Anna.
Yes.
But yeah, and this is a point that this isn't fun for anyone. I think it's been around since the beginning. I think can opener can probably not be a natural combo anymore. I think it's
only the last 2 hits a natural combo, but I agree it doesn't need to be.
Yeah, I know you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just incentivizes people playing like idiots. I mean, I think Anna can obviously keep it. Because you want to incentivize people.
It's bad for the.
I love the subtext there. Anna can keep the idiot move.
Yeah, but I mean, I think because the patch changes and the way they seem to be approaching the character is that they want to make the character, they want to emphasize the technical nature of the game. When they removed down 3, down 4, I was like, oh yeah, that is quite a scrubby move. That's a fine thing to get rid of. And then they were here's this other incredibly alienating string which will destroy new people. And it's just it's going to help with the perception of this character.
But that move has its uses up until high level because, for example, the the bears can't step it; they have to power crush it. And like Eddie that doesn't have a sidestep, they have to. Or if you have a wall situation where they can't step right, you can do that move for pressure. There are little finer things that some of the more unpopular moves has usage, even the scrubby ones.
Down 3-4-3 is also her most consistent floor break.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it should be removed. I think you just might want to change the frames of the last hit.
Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't need to be a knowledge check. I agree.
It's
It's plus
too,
2.
It's too dominating for new players. Like it's like that's the thing is that some of her changes were like I just felt like they specifically made them to annoy people.
Yeah, like her down 4-3 string.
Like while standing one
as well.
While standing 1+2 went to being safe, and then while standing 1, and then they added in while standing 1-4. It's just like, okay, this isn't good, but it's also just not. I just don't like it. Just don't like this. I just don't like this stuff. I don't like people finishing. I don't like it when people finish while standing 1+2 on block. I just, you don't necessarily want to duck it as you would before because, it's because there's a mid option and so on. Like again, not good, but also someone who doesn't know the character is just going to be like, going to block while standing 1+2, and then they're going to try and jab punish. They're going to be like, well, it's safe. And they're going to be like, oh, do I have to duck the second hit then? And then they're going to be like, oh shit, there's a mid option save, and they don't know that like there's a million frame gap between the 1 and the 4, but it's not a good option, but it is like it's gonna, as you said, it's gonna like knowledge check lower level Ninas into using all this kind of stuff, and then it's gonna make the people playing against them like pissed off because they don't know how to.
And it's not a good feeling if you're on the receiving end.
Yeah, like because like I said, I think the character like as in her current state since Tekken 6DR, I think like I hated her in 5.0, but I think she's a super cool character now. Like, and it is sort of a shame that like people get stuck on that, like get stuck on that sort of level of interaction with the character, both from the like versus and against standpoint.
Yeah, as we said earlier, I think the same could be applied to a lot of different characters. I'd like to see knowledge checks kind of reduced across the board. I think, especially with the size of the roster, it's gone to a point where it's just sort of overwhelming, and it kind of misrepresents the character a lot. If especially like lack of tutorial and all that. It's very rare to see a Nina, especially online, played as the character can be played. I mean, I love seeing high level Ninas, but it's just like it's slim pickings. It's just like there aren't many players out there for a number of reasons. But yeah, I guess on that topic, who do you think are the top 5 Nina players in the world?
This is tricky because a lot of players have moved on to different characters.
Yeah.
Or
do we include? Go.
Like I can think of a lot too. I'm not entirely sure on who my top 5 would be, but I mean, for example, Only Practice isn't very active these days, is he? He doesn't enter tournaments. He occasionally streams or occasionally does an exhibition match or something.
He was
he's the Nina player that if anyone thinks of Nina, they think, oh, Only Practice.
Yeah.
So I'd have to still put him in that top 5.
Yeah.
And then we've mentioned Nongbuhem a couple of times. I mean, he is still somewhat active. He does stream and he does still play, but he's another one that isn't really in tournaments. We don't really see any tournament representation by him. Got so many others I can list. Obviously, we've got Mawts here. He's got tournament representation, so he competes and he's present. And you'd definitely be one of the higher ranked Ninas in the TWT scoreboard, wouldn't you?
If you're getting tournament finals against AK, then blood,
Yeah.
you are legit as hell.
Yeah.
There's Victim of Ritual, but he's moved on to Zafina.
Right.
From what I understand, it's not because of shortcomings with Nina or anything. It's just that he likes the design, he likes the style of Zafina, and that's fine.
Yeah. Sure. I know there's some Pakistani Ninas that are very good. I think there's it was Mangani, I think.
Yes.
With Mangani, yep.
Yeah, I think I saw him like I remember seeing him like beating a Waste Honey like pretty badly in a first to 20 at some point.
Yeah, he's very strong. You've also got Motion Shooter.
Yeah, I think he was the other one I was gonna mention.
Are you finished?
No. Well, I mean,
I could go on all day trying to name people.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So so for my top 5, I think of course only practice. Top 5 excluding myself. Only practice. Usman Ghani. Then the Dina player from Thailand, Jui Storm.
Jui?
Yeah, so I've faced him also. I faced a lot of Tinas when I travel also. I Mistrust and Jui, yeah. And
Mistrust, yeah.
That's
very good.
Sorry, that's only practice, Usman, Jui, then I'd say Victim of Ritual, but he's not playing Nina. So
I think Mistrust plays. I think he plays Zafina as well. Maybe he
plays Zafina.
Yeah,
and maybe he really likes.
Yeah,
characters
so that's
as well.
why I did not include them. The motion shooter, the Pakistani one, Nina.
He was using Farkamram a fair bit recently, but I think he's back on Nina.
Yeah. And maybe No Name.
No Name's good.
Oh yeah.
The Korean Nina. Yeah, so that's my top 5.
Okay. Guys, you want to add anything to that? Friendly Tree, Phil? Is anyone with me?
No, I mean I don't know many like Nina players, but yeah, I know all those guys. Some of them I think are probably more. I mean, this is the thing. They're more active, I think, in Tag 2 than they were in this area game than they were in this one, which is kind of sad, really.
Because when I go travel, I actively really look for Nina players. Like when I competed in Evo Japan, like I got like 40th. Then the next Nina was like 300 or something. So I like because I really search them because I want to connect with a lot of Nina players. So because Nina is very expressive, so a lot of players really have their own mindset and style, and so I want to learn from them. But right now they're really it's really short of Nina players in the competitive scene right now.
Yeah. I mean, it would be great for there to be given a real reason to play Nina without just doing another tracking hell sweep situation, like without just dumbifying her basically. But yeah, I mean, consistency would be a great first step.
Yeah, we don't want her top tier, just consistency.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay, so I guess and I think we're going into the final stretch of questions. What are some good and bad matchups for Nina? What really stands out? I mean, she's such an well-rounded character overall that I doubt there's going to be anything in particular like this is a horrible matchup or this fantastic matchup. She doesn't seem like that type of character. But in your personal experience as Nina players, like, who do you really just sweat beads when you come up across, and who do you think, well, I think I got this in the bag?
Bad or good matchups?
Well, both.
Both. Do you want to go first, Tree? Or
I don't mind. You can if you want.
okay. So I think Nina's bad matchup is are possibly Geese. Because Nina can't really because in higher competitive level, Nina usually goes in via movement, not buttons,
Right.
So, and it's really hard to get close to Geese because of there's down 4 and there's a lot of other stuff. And if they whiff that, Nina can't reliably whiff punish. If you like bait them to do that and backdash, and he whiffs a down 4, you can't reliably punish because of the inconsistencies we mentioned earlier. Yeah. So yeah, and possibly Julia. Because Julia has a lot of priority with her moves. That's a bad matchup.
Most characters struggle with Julia and Geese to a lesser extent. I mean, they're just super strong characters.
Yeah, because you can't really bait like Magic Force and other stuff. Julia has so much priority that your Magic Force don't matter, and other stuff, And for good, let me mention, for good matchups, I think Warang is a good matchup versus Nina. Because if there's a lot of stuff, like there's a lot of
away
options
from
that,
a lot of his stuff.
Not really backsway. Like if you block down 3-4, you just sweep it, and and almost always counter hit.
Yeah.
Then if they like do 1-2 flamingo, you just do Nina's down 1-2.
Right. Yeah.
Even if Warang does the low crush, he'll be caught by the second 2 and he gets floated. There's a lot. And if he's in right flamingo stance, you can just do back 1 and he can't do anything. There's a lot of stuff if you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to get started against
Warang.
Nina.
Yeah. Do you want to add on Warang?
No.
Tree?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Warang because he's one of the ones that I had as well. So I feel like the evasive movement that Nina has works really in her favor for this. There's another fun little example I'd like to bring up. So if you get hit, if you block a left flamingo forward 3 or a crouch dash 3, previously you could do the beginning of her 10 hit and you could confirm and beat any option he had because you could go into the low, then it would even beat the power crush. But since they made it is it +5 now? Since they made it plus,
it's like, it's whatever it is that means you can't, like, he jab will be jabbed by 1 frame. It's like, I think it's 3 or 4, yeah.
So now you can't do that, but she still does have her backsway, which can beat every option, except for the power crush. But you have time to visually confirm the power crush, and a backsway back 1 will make the power crush whiff and give you a launch.
Pretty cool.
But just as well as that in general, like Mawts said, with down 3-4, she's got a reliable punish there if you block it. Just in general, I think just her movement, and you can quite easily confirm a sidestep 2 against a lot of his pressure if you step it. She's got strong tools to deal with Warang, in my opinion.
Okay. Sounds good. Any other characters to add? So both agreed, like Nina kind of tramples Warang, struggles with Julia and Geese, but I guess most characters do to some extent.
I'd say Nina versus Raven. Nina is very good.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Why?
Because she just has a lot of option selects versus Raven. For example, Raven does down back 2. Down the one that the poke that makes his back turn. A lot of Raven players, even the high level ones, abuse that. Nina can just down forward for it because it's 12 frames and
generic
and
down forward, always
and
kills that.
but the 12 frame can be power crushed. But for Nina, she can't be power crushed because the down 4 like pushes him back. So the power crush would absorb the DF4, then you can launch Raven. You know that lots of stuff like that, and you can just abuse Raven with down back 2. Raven can't do anything, and you can abuse also with down back 3 because Raven has a weak punish on that. A lot of things, and option selects for Nina versus Raven.
Interesting. I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah, Raven's one that's.
What about like the classic? What about like the classic top tiers? Do those like the other, or at least? So is there anything like that pops up in the like matches with like Fakram, Leroy, Steve, Paul, etc.? Are those just
okay?
Even Akuma?
You mentioned about
for me,
back 1+4 with you mentioned about Akuma's down 2.
Yeah.
About the extending hitbox on.
Yeah. 1+4.
Sorry,
just 1+4.
Yeah. Not the whiff punish. Yeah. Back just 1+4. Yeah.
Yeah, you can virtually versus Akuma. You can just maintain this range, then spam him with 1+4. He can't do anything.
Interesting.
And also, if he does a lot of power crush, Akuma, you can do a forward 1. Even if he releases the power crush, you're crouching. Yeah. So stuff like
slide
that.
Also seems
and slide, you
slide
counter
also
hit
seems
with
good
slide.
against Akuma. Yeah.
So if Akuma power crushes, you mix him up.
Power crush.
You mix him up with the forward 1 and slide.
Yeah.
So things like that.
And if he jumps and you're doing slide, like, because that's a lot of the risk with Akuma. If you're like, oh, I'm gonna go and hit him out of power crush with lows or throws, and he just raw jumps and instantly kills you. But like slide, just you end up on the other side anyway.
Switches the position, and also the forward 1.
Yeah.
If power crush then jump, Akuma goes back to the ground. So.
Chat mentioned up forward 3 is good against Demon Flip.
I mean, I guess so. Sorry.
So go.
I was going to say, back 1 this is another situation where back 1 comes in quite handy.
Right.
So if you do the back 1, because it's got the auto sidestep left, because of the timing and everything, it can actually beat any Demon Flip option. As long as you're not too slow.
The reliable punish for as I said earlier, Nina has a lot of options. It can cover a lot of situations, right? So the sure versus Demon Flip, the sure punish is back 4. Nina's back 4.
Okay.
Yeah, it reliably, for some reason, it just hits everything. Because if you do a forward 3 and Akuma does the 1, Demon Flip 1.
Yeah.
Demon Flip jab.
Oh, jab. Sorry, not. Yeah. That's the jab.
Yeah, Demon Flip jab. Up forward 3 will get beat. So yeah. So regarding top tier, sorry. Devil Jin and Leroy. Nina has a good chance with them because of the tools, I think.
Why? Like
versus Devil Jin, down back you can spam down back 2 if you're careful. The God Fist whiffs if you at a certain point that down back the first few frames you can get God Fisted.
Right.
But the latter frames, you get a counter hit versus Devil Jin. So and just the pressure. Devil Jin has really when you get close to him, he doesn't really have the tools to defend himself well with Nina's speed.
Okay.
Mishimas in general are an interesting one for Nina. Because I think they can be pretty tough, but then it's another case of backsway and Hayashida can be very effective.
Yeah. If you're on P1.
Yeah, if you're on P1. Absolutely. But it's a case of if you're up close, you can do a lot of strong things, but at distance, you really just need to be patient and wait for your opportunity, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, so sorry, go.
I was going to say I think there are pros and cons in both, well, in the matchup in both way. Probably a lot of the time, I think Nina still comes just short though.
Especially with that Godfist whiff buff, that
Yeah.
probably hurt. That probably hurt that matchup quite a bit. Made it quite a bit harder to get in. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as long as you know the matchup by you really you're really used to the matchup. Nina can manipulate that matchup towards her advantage as long as you have enough experience. Like you can spam down 2 versus Devil Jin because he can't afford for it. It's too low. Stuff like that. If you really know the matchup. And it's also an advantage in tournaments, especially overseas, because not a lot of people get to match against Ninas in general, especially good Ninas. So
Indeed.
that might be but here in the Philippines, a lot of people know how to fight Nina. But yeah, in international, it's quite a good advantage to have also.
Okay. Is there any other character you want to add to those matchups? Like interesting interactions?
I've got a few. I can add. So what about Eddie? So we talked before about down 3-4-3 and the struggles he has there. Nina can also blow up most of his relax options. So as long as you know different ones that he does, it's either you get a full float with an up 4-3 or a down 4-1. Or if it's a case where you can't get a full float, you can do a reverse ivory cutter. And it will hit him on the ground and relax. If he presses any button, it will launch him. So you can really blow up Eddie with Nina, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, agree. And you can also do random down force. And sometimes Eddie floats. And you can just confirm with one. And also there's an Eddie move like down back 2. But sometimes it's you're afraid to punish it because they might do the extension. Nina can just reliably punish with while standing 1+2.
Right.
Yeah.
Nina has a power crush that's
From
crouching.
Right.
So there's lots of little stuff, and there's lots of this in many characters. So yeah.
That seems to be a really running theme with this character. Like, there's this particular
really,
tool for this particular situation, for this particular move. As I said, Swiss Army knife. Yeah.
Can't remember. Does Nina still? Does Nina get any kind of ivory cutter infinites on Kuma in this game? She generally does.
On console release, she did, and they nerfed it out. So it used to be after a floor break on the only stage with floor breaks at the time. You could just do it over and over. Yes. The beers. Yeah, the beers are another good matchup in my opinion. I mean, just alone by the damage you get on them for combos and such, and just how unsafe they are in general. I mean, it's just a case where Nina's a better character in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say most characters probably have the advantage against bears.
She get any weird conversions that she wouldn't otherwise get on them? Like anything that doesn't launch that does?
Back 3-4 mid screen.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, so does that fix the whiff punishing issue on other characters a bit then? I mean, as in like,
no.
as in like, she can whiff punish Kuma much more effectively than she could say like most of the rest of the class.
Back 3's range is too poor for that, unfortunately.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Nina also has a good Oki versus Kuma at the wall. I think because after her wall ender 1-2-1-2-1 1-2-1-2-1+2, Kuma slides and you character switch, and you have a good situation afterwards. You can do down 4. If he doesn't move, you can float. Back turn down 4, then down 4-1. you can float again. Yeah.
Yeah, poor bears.
That was one of the things I was gonna say about like that was one of the changes that I don't know if Namco meant it when they removed down 3, down 4, and replaced it with the other stuff we've got now. It like Nina had one of those in Tag 2. Nina had like a Ling type infinite on stuff because she could do sidestep left to get the this kind of back turned wall splat like Ling does, and like Ling she could re-splat them into it, but she re-splatted them with down 3, down 4. So
yeah, that's right. That's wipe the floor down 3, down 4.
Yeah. But yeah, so she used to have like an infinite like Ling did. Another reason why she was good in tag. Sorry, I just remembered it. Sorry, I won't interrupt with weird stuff anymore.
That's cool. That's cool. Okay, so I guess next question is, what advice would you give to beginner and intermediate Nina players looking to improve? So, I mean, I think one of the things is, I mean, I'm not a Nina player, but we've hinted at this a few times, that it's very easy to go down a certain way of playing with Nina and see success up to a certain point and then suddenly hit a brick wall and be like, this just is not working at all anymore. And you have to totally recontextualize or rethink the way you play the character.
Okay, so I have a few thoughts on this, on how to help a player. I mean, I try and do this a lot with my content. So, first thing I want to say is make sure you're having fun. So, if you're not enjoying using the character, don't be using the character. There's no problem with swapping characters. I'm not going to say you must use Nina. Make sure you're enjoying the game. Do whatever you can to make sure you're having fun. When you're starting off, I'd say try playing very concise and make sure that you understand the purpose of every move that you use. So slowly expand your move pool over time, but make sure you understand why you're using each move. If you're just throwing out a string because, hey, that string might work, that's when you get into those habits and those flow charting patterns that Nina's becoming known for. The next thing there is more just elaborating on that. Make sure you have a game plan in mind. So make sure you have intent behind your actions. Make sure everything you're doing, you're making sure you know what space you want to be at against this opponent, against this character. You know what moves that will come in handy in these situations. Because as we've talked about before, there are a lot of very niche situations where Nina can excel at. The last thing I'd say is watching footage. So I don't only mean watching top players, but that's a good place to start. But also reviewing your own footage and getting other people to review your footage too. Because that way you can see your shortcomings and you can figure out how to solidify your game plan and how to use more of the move pool. Yeah.
That's a great answer. Mawts, what do you think?
I think AFriendlyTree said it all. I just want to add on that Nina is a Swiss Army knife. Nina has almost every tool for almost every situation. You just have to find it, and the more that you find it, the more the better that you get at finding it. The faster you find it, the faster you can apply it. It's like okay, here's a situation. Give me a screwdriver. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's whoa. It's like that. So, and if you get enough expertise on that, then you get a really solid character that can deal with, a lot of situations that a lot of characters can't deal with. So, and try your best to keep away from the cheese. It wins games, but you don't learn anything afterwards. So, just as Tree said, find the intent and purpose on every move that you do. Why? So just keep asking why.
Yeah.
In terms of like people learning Nina, how would you, in terms of like the execution challenges and so on, is there any kind of stuff you would start with? Because I know like when I play Brian, and everyone who plays Brian will immediately go in and just start trying to hit taunt jet upper. And you're just like, there's a lot of other like much things which are going to be much more useful for you that you could learn right now. So yeah, do you think like people should just go in there, start banging out butterfly loops or sidestep one, or like what do you think like in terms of how should you like structure learning the technical aspect of the character?
Look, if that's what you enjoy, then yeah, start with it. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be too crucial to your gameplay, is it? It's going to stifle you if you're focusing on execution. Or have you seen that meme of the guy trying to go up the steps and it's like fundamentals and different stages and then combos and high executions at the end? It's not going to benefit your gameplay at the end of the day, or it's not going to benefit until later on once you've understood all the basics better. So in the Discord at the moment, we actually do have individual channels for while standing one and sidestep one because people have so many questions about it.
Popular topic for
very popular
newcomers. Like, how do you do instant while standing one?
Yeah, because they saw it, and it looks cool. Basically, I'm sure they saw in a video someone was like, "Yeah, I want to do that." That's fine if that's what you want to play Tekken for. Go for it. Go for it. If you're playing Tekken for the sole purpose of landing butterfly loops, go for it.
Yeah. So we often tell people in the Discord, we go, this is how you do it, this is how we practice it, but we recommend that you learn these things first, or we recommend you play some games and you figure out how to use the character before you focus on this. You can still get pretty good damage, you can still do good combos, you can still have good pressure without sidestep one, So it's just about preference and enjoyment and what they want to get out of the game.
Yeah, totally. Like what do you want to get out of the game? That's the best way to put it. Like I generally don't recommend new players, for example, to play Mishimas, even though they're the main characters. They're very attractive for a lot of new players, because people tend to get absorbed with mastering Wavedash and electrics, and they get too focused on that and not enough on fundamentals. But like, if that's what sparks joy, then by all means, like, if that's what you're in for, then play it. Like, I generally feel like mediocre Mishimas are some of the easiest opponents you'll ever face. But if that's what, if you have fun winning that 1 out of 10 times, because it is a struggle at first, and play them. Yeah.
Oh, I have one for the intermediate players. Nina can be spoiling a little bit easy to spoil you for being too pressy. But up to that just goes to up a certain level. If you get an opponent that has really good timing, you have to invest on movement to get in. Because intermediate level Nina's, you just, there's a distance like this, slide. There's a distance like this, running 1+2, So you, and then when they hit that brick wall, a lot of people fall off. So I think you should invest on getting proper movement to get in. It's hard, but, it pays dividends in the long run.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's tempting because, playing reactively, fundamentals based, the Swiss Army knife approach, it's a lot more mentally taxing than throwing a bunch of strings out. Can opener, down forward 3, and it's obviously much more. And that kind of stuff it's legitimately hard to deal with, even for good players, especially online. So I can't understand. But yeah, I guess again, it depends what your goals are. If you want to play Nina in tournaments and you want to be a competitive player, I guess there is that there's the small print when it comes with those strings. Like they will not work beyond a certain level against strong defensive players. So yeah. Is there anything to add about that? I mean, beginners and intermediates or players looking to get into Tekken via Nina? Like, any other advice?
A lot of people, another very common thing that's said is people say, I was drawn to the character at first, but then I heard she's too hard. Or I was told not to use her because she's too hard. which I know you mentioned with the Mishimas as well, because people fixate on these different technical aspects. But it's with Nina, she doesn't need to be technical. She can be played in a very lame, sort of basic style. So I do encourage, if you like the character, choose the character. That's not just for Nina, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just play the character you like. There's a number of reasons why people pick a character. It generally boils down to, like, do you think they look cool? Right. But yeah. Okay, so I guess last question. So in future iterations of Tekken 8, I mean, we talked a bit about Season 4, but like Tekken 8 beyond, in what direction would you like to see Nina develop in future iterations?
Okay, can I go first?
Yeah, go for it.
First of all, not relating gameplay, I'd like Nina to age.
I agree.
Yeah,
I would agree, but I might get more death threats again, so I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna nod silently.
but I think that that has a little chance of happening because of the Japanese standards of getting of appeal. They think that younger is more appealing. But yeah, that's just my personal preference. Or not maybe not age, but have marks on her that shows her
She's an assassin.
experience as an assassin, or like Jago Navas's scar or whatever, or whatever. Just she looks like a model, man. So she doesn't look like an assassin. So I think I'd like her to be that way in Tekken 8, and maybe a more hashed out storyline. Because after Tekken 3, everything fell off. I mean, the story went. I don't know how it went.
Yeah, I think it'll be super
went
cool.
to Steve.
Sorry, go on.
I just said it went to Steve.
I'm done.
No, AFriendlyTree, go for it, please.
Okay. So just focusing on the story aspect of it, I agree. I'd like to see her age. I do want to point out two little things to remind people that in Tekken Tag 1, she did have grey hair in her default costume. And that there was a Guinness World Record poll where she was voted the hottest female video game character or something. And I feel like that may have stifled her progression in a way, because she won that, and so they've tried to maintain that image of her. One interesting way they could approach it, which I think would be quite cool, would be if there was some kind of repercussion of the freezing.
I was about to say that.
So if there's some kind of accelerated aging toward her true age, I think that would be an interesting way that they could tie it in with her story and make her age. I'd like to see that, and pretty much like Mod said, I'd like to see some kind of closure for her story. There's so many things are left open-ended in the Tekken story, and it's a shame because people do play the game for the story, and they do find it interesting.
Yeah, no, it's a massive draw. You can't ignore the appeal of the universe and the characters and the story. It all kind of ties in together. I mean, we can't just be like, 13 frames this and what that. Like, it all ties in together. And it's a massive part of the appeal. And yeah, I just think it would give Nina flavor. It would just give Nina flavor, and she would stand apart a bit if she had a grey hair here or there, like a battle scar or something. It would give the character depth and texture. It would make her more interesting.
Or the story about her family. Like, no one knows what happened, until now.
Yeah, her father, it's a mystery.
Oh yeah,
What?
They tapped upon that in Tekken 3, and then like, nah.
There's a whole lot of story that can be had with that if they go that direction.
Yeah, there's so many wasted opportunities. I feel that's not just Nina. I feel like a lot of the characters that there was something there, but they just haven't really bothered to flesh them out in any meaningful way. I guess that's one of the trade-offs of having such a ridiculously large roster, and that's again another reason I would like the Tekken 8 roster, or whatever future guys that Tekken takes, for it to be a bit more skimmed down and focused. And I guess that brings us to the last question. So, I'm going to ask you, unbiased gentlemen, if you had to choose between Nina and Anna in Tekken 8, who would you choose and why?
Me?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Go for it.
So look, I've used Nina and Anna a lot, and personally, I'm a Nina main. So I'd like my main character to be in the game. But from an unbiased approach, I can see that Anna is a more popular character in this game. She does have more finesse to her design in general, and people are really enjoying her at the moment. I'd prefer Nina to be in the game and them to work on her more and give her a bit more finesse in her style. But I can totally appreciate, I can understand why many people would choose Anna over Nina for the next Tekken. So that was a Nina, but I understand if people don't agree.
Me, Nina all the way, man. I don't even like. I think a lot of Anna has a lot more fans than Nina, I think. But what they did with Anna's gameplay, the simplified 50-50 gameplay, I think it would benefit me Tekken more if we had less of that.
Yeah.
Okay, here comes the haters.
No, I hear you. No, I like Anna is unquestionably simpler than Nina. Like, it's objective,
Yeah, that would be my take as well. I don't really I think I don't think they're really very similar characters, to be honest. Like in a lot
complete opposites in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
They share some pokes, but
yeah. I mean, like we were sort of mentioning that like Nina is really not like a very strong 50-50 character, and that's sort of what
Anna is.
Anna is. Like Nina's pretty weak on approach, and with Anna, like there's just like one move you do, maybe two if you're getting, maybe two or three if you're getting super like into the character. If you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do forward 3-4-3 to mix up with my quarter circle forward 1, as long as I'm not fighting Leroy or Akuma. And like, I mean, I think they're very different archetypes at this point. I mean, they're much more different than like the laws are. All the laws are pretty much, all the laws are fairly similar. I'd say they're more different than even the Mishimas are. Like, more different than the Kings are. Like, I don't think there would be any like major. There's no like major like clone issues with having them both in the game at the same time. But yeah, I would definitely prioritize Nina over Anna because Nina is like, I mean, I just think she's just like a the more like complex and deeper character. Like she just brings more to the table, and I think they should yeah, like Mort said, they should just focus on that more. And I think they should, in general, they should just like, I feel like they should make it more explicit that she's a character for nerds, even if you took out the stuff like the down 3-4, 3 and whatever, and can opener and all that other kind of stuff. She still has a lot of things which people would just be like, whoa, like you should definitely like keep Evil Mist, because that's going to offend people, but it looks cool. Like people will be upset by getting hit by it, and that's good. And she'd still have a lot of stuff, but yeah, they should just be more explicit with the kind of character that they want her to be. Because yeah, I think they like freeze her in the storyline, but they've sort of frozen her gameplay wise as well, with like big amount of like barrier stuff, and then huge infinite like depth of incredibly cool stuff past it.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I mean, I think I've gone on record saying I prefer Anna, and what I like about Anna is that there's a real overlap. Boo words. It's a real overlap between like personality and gameplay. So she's quite like aggressive, risk taking, and there's a cool overlap there. That's the way she plays in her gameplay. I always like that when they do that with a character. Like you could arguably say the same about Kazuya and Heihachi, for example. But I do agree that Nina is the more interesting deep character, and would want Nina to stay over Anna, but with a few conditions there. I mean, first of all, like, I'd like to be more focused. Like, I would like the developers to say, you know, as Dino put it, this is a nerdy character, like, expressive, deep, and this is what she's about, and just remove, like, the chattel, like, the stuff that gets in the way, that just misrepresents the character.
I think you necessarily have to remove it. I think it's just like
or just do something with it.
Less.
That's
just
annoying.
I mean, just like, you know, down 3. What is down 3/4/3 on block?
+2.
+2.
+2.
2.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be that. Like, that's not cool for new people to deal with.
The other major thing is her animations. I just feel like she's like, I think Dinah brought this up earlier, but she's like the character. Like, everything about Nina is just slightly awkward. You know, she's just like open palm slap the character. And this doesn't scream assassin to me. You know, this doesn't scream
go
out.
back.
Yeah.
The legacy movement, the legacy animations.
Yeah.
That's it. Go back to, like, Tekken 3, maybe even Tekken 1 and 2, and you'll see the exact same animations. You just think, why haven't they changed this in some regard?
Yeah.
And it's not like they can't do it, because the newer characters, like Leroy, has a good animation. Can you see when Leroy backdashes? It's like he's doing this. So it's like it's possible to not make it look janky by doing certain animation tricks, you know. So they should update that for a lot of characters also, so they don't look janky when it's high level and 2 players backdash. It looks janky.
Yeah. No, I agree.
To an outsider, you're right. It just looks odd.
Yeah.
But when Leroy does it, it's beautiful, you know.
They updated his like, he's one of the few characters who has an actual animation assigned to his backdash, and it might seem like a superficial thing, but actually that has real ramifications, especially for new players, because you get a kind of visual reward for backdashing. And backdashing is really strong in this game. You know, you like a new player picking up Tekken, like, they backdash, they think, oh, this is hideous, this isn't very important. You hold back, they like start fumbling around like a leper, like, oh, movement's not important in this game. So, you know, I really think it's important for a game to kind of signpost what it's about through its animation, through its visual design, and I think Tekken's done massively failed at that. But yeah, a bit of modernization. I mean, if that backdash animation for Leroy actually has me really hopeful. But then they brought out Fakum Ram and he's hideous. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see a Nina who has there are some ramifications, some consequences from the cryogenic freezing. Her animations are redone to make her look like a professional assassin, like, you know, highly skilled, and just more focus in her design. But because otherwise, I really do love the idea of the character, but I just feel like she hasn't been done justice in a lot of ways, and it's a real shame because she's sort of like, she's like the Chun-Li of Tekken. So yeah. Is there anything you guys want to add to that?
I'd love Nina to have. Sorry, go.
Just gonna say, like, in terms of sort of a slight digression, but like, in the next time we see Nina is going to be season 4, presumably. I think if one of the main changes is like increased health bar, I do think this will hurt Nina.
Yeah.
I think she is one of the characters who is going to struggle. Every character who has like basically non-sparking lows, I think, is probably the like the most obvious like dividing line here. I think is going to be slightly hurt by this. I think specifically this will, unless they've been very cautious with how they change her, I think this will probably be a bit of an issue for Nina. Sorry, that was just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, if it's just a health increase on its own, she's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
We'll just have to wait and see what else comes with the patch, won't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends if the health increase is also paired with increased scaling on the combos.
Hmm.
So we at this point we don't know, but I think Nina, as logic says that Nina would be hurt, but I think um, Nina can still uh, uh, play with the increased health bar because she has enough of the plus frame lows, which is lows not for damage but lows to open opportunities.
Mhm.
So like sidestep 4, down back 3 being increased, being buffed at this season. So yeah, I think that would be more of not lows to do damage but lows to open up opportunities, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at this point we don't know what season 4 has in store for us.
I think the reaction to like increased health bars was met with a lot of players like, well, I mean, that's just gonna make combos even stronger in a kind of a roundabout way. I would have preferred to just see more aggressive combo scaling as opposed to just increased health bars across the board. That would have made a lot more sense. I mean, but yeah, like hopefully they're taking. I'm sure they're aware of that poking characters are going to struggle with increased health bars, and they'll. I don't know. It seems like a really big systemic change to make in like the 5th year of a game's lifespan. It's really gonna put the balance on its head. I mean, I think a lot of characters are gonna struggle from that. Like,
But what I do like with the increased health bars is that on a competitive level, better players would.
Oh yeah, more
it would be
opportunities.
better for better players. Yeah,
for sure.
because you don't get like a few pokes that random hop kick, then you lose a round by whoever whoever that just knows how to combo.
Yeah.
So it would be better for better players, less lucky stuff happening.
Yeah.
I mean, like when we played Arcade DR and we had the increased health, changed the tier list a bit. Like Julia was worse. Like Mishimas were better. Blah blah blah. It was also like it was undeniably a better game. Like it was. I mean, I found it more satisfying to play with more health. Like because the risk of like losing an entire round to a single or at least not a round, but to make it so difficult to catch up because you've had one combo and one wall conversion. So I mean, I think there's probably. I mean, we all know what's going to happen, right? They're going to be like, we've recognized poking characters, been really hurt in season 4. So, Kazumi, welcome to have all your old stuff back.
Well, they're giving Kazumi like a Kazuya's forward 2. They're giving like a long range whiff punisher or like pushback punisher, which is something she lacked. So, and that's something I'm not really a big fan of because I like the fact that she had that and it was a weakness of hers. So we'll have to see what they give to characters in these new moves. But characters with down forward 1s were already running, like good, strong down forward 1s were running Tekken 7 competitively. And, characters who kind of, their play style is about setting up a launch, like Mishima's, they were kind of struggling on a competitive level. So I guess this is the way of making Tekken 7 less down forward 1-y and more, giving more layers to your game plan. I think it could be good. Yeah. Hopefully, yeah.
Another. Go. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, there's like gonna be unforeseen casualties to that. I think Nina is probably a classic example of someone who's not at in the current because of the sidestep changes and all that kind of stuff. Who they've historically kind of ignored with not ignored with the patches, because most of the stuff they've given her has been good and it's made sense and it hasn't been overboard. Yeah, I think she's at risk, basically, I'd say.
For sure. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Season 4 is probably going to come out in November. I mean, they said fall, and there's only one more month in autumn, fall. So yeah, like within the next 30 days, we're probably going to know whether kind of Nina struggles even more in season 4. Guys, anything you want to say before we wrap things up? Any shout outs or something along those lines?
How many people can I shout out to? Look, I'm just going to say thank you to everyone in the Australian and the New Zealand fighting game community. Thank you to the tournament organisers and Standing Fierce and Couch Warriors. I'd also like to shout out to the whole Nina community. So everyone in the Nina Discord, everyone I interact with on Twitter, YouTube, and Discord, and everywhere. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I'd like to shout out. For me, I'd like to shout out Bren Esports. That's my team, and my teammates and our managers there. And I'd like to shout out the everyone who's watching from the Philippine Tekken community. I think they're out there watching. Shout outs to every one of you, and also to the Nina community in Discord. So yeah, I'll try to post more often. Yeah, thank you guys.
And thank you so much for your time, and thank you for coming, everyone. It's been a real pleasure, and it's been a lot of fun to talk about a character who's generally kind of like pushed to the side. Yeah, and Phil, as ever, cheers, man. Always great to have you.
I mean, it's been great. Like, it's been like this real like scientific like discussion with these guys, and yeah, it was great to like talk to people who have who are real old school players as well. Playing DR and even like competitive tag 1 with Nina. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, so really enjoyed it.
No, been an absolute pleasure. And guys, chat, thank you for tuning in. That was Wavedash 20, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.